Gemini crew.
Ooh. Oh yeah, you know what time it is. People of the night, welcome to Mike in the Night.
Mike into the night, you're here with Mike in the night. Mike into the night, you're here with Mike in the night. Let's just talk about the world, give this page another turn, 'cause you're here with us tonight. Everything's alright.
It's alright.
You're here with Mike in the night.
People of the night.
Mike it through the night, you're here with Mike in the night. Giving the world light when you're here with Mike in the night. Mike it through the night, you're here with Mike in the night. Sometimes things are just absurd, so let's just talk about the world, 'cause you're here with us tonight.
People of the night, welcome to Mike in the Night.
Mike it through the night, you're here with Mike in the night. Mike it through the night, you're here with Mike in the night. Let's just talk about the world, give this page another curl, 'cause you're here with us tonight.
Don't you know it? I bid you all good morning, good evening, and good night. Wherever you may be watching this transmission, whether you're watching us from your condo or box in the sky, whatever they call it nowadays, to your cabin in the woods, or you're just couch surfing, or maybe in a car on a road trip, or relaxing in your lazy boy. People of the night, welcome to Mike in the Night. Where something's moving you and it's 3 a.m. and something's moving you. So crack open a window, sit back, relax, get some tea or coffee, or be like Constantinos saying he's got his beer ready, because you're tuned in to Mike in the Night, the voice of the Commonwealth. Broadcasting from some Chinatown back alley here, we're going to have a great show for you guys tonight. All right, okay, so I want to talk about ingredients. Anybody that wants to read the ingredients on anything nowadays, they're considered a conspiracy theorist. Well, what's in that injection? What's in that serum? What's the ingredients? What's in there? Well, you can't ask that. If we discuss housing or the price of housing, somebody called me a racist for talking about affordability levels in housing, how foreign investors are buying us out, that I'm a racist for that. And why is it that when we don't align with the whatever current media agenda is, we're considered crazy? Or even, let's say we're not politically aligned with the status quo, we're considered fascists or whatever. And a majority of the people that call people fascists or the N-word, Nazis, do they even know what that means? Do they even know what do they even know that era? A lot of people don't know history. But we got a special information from Vegetable Joe today that's going to teach us today something in history. So today, it's toxic media agenda. And what's scaring me the most, is that people are no longer judging or debating for themselves. And most importantly, nobody is negotiating for themselves anymore. For some reason, everybody is a Covey expert. If I had a barber, he'd be a Covey expert in talking about vaccines and what's good and what's happening. My mechanic is a Covey expert. It's like global warming. Remember global warming? My barber was a global warming expert. My I don't even know who I have like doing things for me anymore. Like everybody's like, you know, the guy that delivers the mail is a global warming expert. Now everyone's become a COVID expert nowadays. Everyone's a COVID expert. Let's get a round of applause for the COVID experts. All those COVID experts that know everything and not up for a debate, and don't let others negotiate for themselves. All right, guys, I promised you a good show tonight. That's my rant, Mike in the Night rant, for starters. And lots going on. And Low Roller Scratcher in the comments said it right. We are 60 days away from an election. Hallelujah. Thank you. It's this nightmare is finally going to be over. Hallelujah. Praise the Lord. This nightmare that we've been going through the last year is finally going to be over. All right, guys. We got Lord Humongous saying Al Gore invented global warming. Yeah. But, you know, statistically speaking, from what they told us back in the day, that Florida should be underwater. What was it, 2011? Florida would be 2 feet underwater by 2011. Unless there's a paradigm shift and I'm living in another dimension, Florida's not underwater. If anything, its coastline is receding quite a bit in some parts. Believe it or not. Troll Nut is saying they're getting $600 American to protest for those that are. Our comments are flowing real nice tonight. I want to thank everybody who is watching this show. Lots of shout outs. Our restream or rebroadcast to Eastern Europe, aka Russia, is picking up a lot of steam. I think there's some sort of translation thing on that platform that we're using that's getting us out to other areas of the world. Mind you, YouTube, but a lot of people have dropped YouTube around the world, just like Facebook. Today I tried to send my wife a link to a soccer. The Portugal was playing Croatia today, right? Portugal won 4-1. But anyways, the point of the matter, I tried to send my wife a link through Facebook so my kids could watch the Portugal match. My kids had the Portugal shirts on, the Portugal jerseys on, their hats, and they were taking photos, and they wanted to watch the match, and they couldn't because I couldn't. They could, but it took them a hell of a long time to find the damn link. Because when I sent the link through Facebook, I actually, it's on my thing. Let's go over here to Article Scan real quick here. When I went to Facebook, Facebook to send the message, I got one of these. Watch this, guys. You're not going to believe this. Right here. The message, your message couldn't be shared because it goes against our policy and it goes against community standards. What a bunch of losers. If they think the leftist agenda is going to pay Facebook's bills, they're out of their mind. It's the conservative businesses and families that promote their businesses on Facebook. They're out of their tree if there's no working class Americans. They're out of their tree if they think. Anyways, guys, I'm not going to get too worked up too early in the show. Thank you. Okay, guys, quick channel plug, and we'll get into some news, and we'll discuss. And we got a very important message from Vegetable Joe. So here it is, guys. Don't forget to go against the whatever it is they want to tell you, and go ahead and subscribe to the channel. Less than 20% of the people that do watch the channel are not subscribed. And don't forget to set your reminders for Trends in the Housing Market this Wednesday, discussing housing trends, affordability levels, money laundering, all this crap that's been going on basically for the last decade. We don't post-dict here, we predict. And we got Mike in the Night next week, Dystopian Future, and Mike in the Night Unknowingly Trapped Inside a week and a half after, 2 weeks from now. So don't forget to set your reminders. And if you want to watch past shows, here they are, all of them. We got callers like The Raven, Layla, Lord Humongous, Supreme Cannon. We get everybody on here on the show, and people know these people. They come to my store, and they're like, I don't really comment, but I love those guests you have are amazing. I love your guests. And it's like, yep. They're not guests. They're a form of the channel. They're part of the channel. They're inclusive. They're a molding of the channel. You understand? Guests is someone that arrives and visits. They're part. They are a partner. They're everybody's part of this, right? And that's what's important. Guys, don't forget to shop Teespring if you guys want to get a Mike in the Night towel, a Merit Stalker mug. We got a Merit Stalker mask. If you guys want to get a Merit Stalker mask, we got a mask too. Here from the Merit Stalker series here on my channel. And don't forget to check out... Ooh, I missed a call from my wife. Guys, don't forget... this is my YouTube. This is my Facebook. I don't know what it is. I don't even care anymore. I got 115,000 followers on Facebook, and I've been fighting them for a long time to make me a public figure, and they tell me that I'm not credible enough to be a public figure. With 115,000. And they say, first we have to make sure you exist. How can 115,000 people like me, even after they purged all those fake Facebook pages? How the hell am I not... I don't exist. And guys, you can go ahead and hit me up on Instagram. I get a lot of show tips here. I spent almost an hour and a half yesterday going over Instagram messages, and they're putting it through an approval thing now that they have to, like, they're filtering messages that people send to me. Wait, I thought I was incredible. I thought I wasn't anyone of importance. So why can't somebody just message me? Things that make you go, Anyways. All right, guys. So I promised you guys a very important message from Vegetable Joe before we kick off. Vegetable Joe is going to teach us a bit of history now. So here it is, guys. I hope you guys enjoy this.
Why in God's name don't we teach history in history classes?
It's important.
A black man invented the light bulb, not a white guy named Edison. Invented the light bulb. Not a black man invented the light bulb, not a white guy named Edison. Okay? A black man invented the light bulb, not a white guy named Edison. Okay?
Thank you so much for that, Joe. Good luck with your presidential run. I'm going to keep that up there and replay that through the night. Okay, guys, we have the real Australian hero right here. Anyone know who this guy is? Could someone get this guy on the show? What's this guy's name? This guy got arrested. I want this guy on the show. I want to find out who this guy is. I know there's people watching me right now in Australia. I want to know I want to get this guy on the show. A real Australian hero right here. Covey arrests in Australia, anti-lockdown protests. Now, for those of you who've been under a rock or just arrived from Alpha Centauri, the state of Victoria in Australia, we've been covering it for, I don't know, actually quite a bit now. And we've been predicting, not post-dicting, that Australia is the Petri dish or the, the testing ground for the Commonwealth. For the rest of the Commonwealth to follow. You know? I could picture, I could picture, what's his name? Our Prime Minister of Canada. No, we want to be the Petri dish. We want all the open borders. We want to destroy what's left of what Canada was. Okay, so we got all kinds going through the comments here. Let's get to the comments first. So everyone's talking about that, Okay, I'm not going to get to the comments right now because everyone's talking about Vegetable Joe there. So we're not going to go there right now. So, okay, so this guy right here. So for people that don't know what's happening, they've already rolled out the social credit score in Darwin. We covered that a year and a half ago on an in-depth 2-hour show discussing the damaging effects of being monitored from when you walk out your door to when you get on the elevator, to when you get off the elevator, to when you get into your place, and then I don't know what's recording you when you walk into your door and what's tracking you when you're inside your... I don't even know where to go with this because it's so much. So Australia is rolling it out. A bunch of traders in the city council of Darwin went to China to understand and roll out the technology in Australia. So obviously there's going to be backdoors so China could actually make sure that their Australian that their autonomous region of Australia, which is part of China, is doing what they're saying. And that's how it works. So, in Melbourne, the center of Australia outbreak, about 300 people marched in defiance of tough measures that have been in place for a month. Okay, so the city is on lockdown. You need all kinds of permissions to leave your home to buy food. You need all kinds of, and look at this man, 1984 on his visor here. Look at this man. So we're gonna get what's his face here? Sorry, somebody's sending me Matthew's sending me a photo. Okay, I need to get Stephen Thomas because he's right in the downtown core of where this is happening. And I want to find out from him if he went to this rally. And let me just go a few headlines. Lockdown extended by 2 weeks. Watch lives as Premier Dan Andrews reveals a roadmap for the state. So now they're extending it for 2 weeks. I say it's 24 months. And I said it a few weeks ago. I'm telling you it's going to be 24 months. It's going to be 2 years when it's all said and done. They're going to look back at this. Wow, it's been 2 years we've been on lockdown. Watch. And we got anti-lockdown protesters arrested in Melbourne. Solidarity rallies held across Australia. So people are like, you know what? It's the gig is up. Like they're gonna have to. Someone's gonna call a spade here. Someone's gonna have to say, you know what? We screwed up. All right, Frankie, we screwed this one up, Frankie. I'm sorry. What can I say? I can't go back in time. I'm sorry, but no one takes accountability anymore. Like that guy on. That guy that used to make all those shows, and he used to make those diabetes shows, commercials. My name is, I forgot his name, and I have diabetes. Well, that guy always talked about accountability. No one has accountability anymore. At least our leaders should come forward and say, look, okay, maybe we overestimated this. Australian tourists can't leave their country, including to visit Thailand. So people that want to leave Australia to go visit another country, they cannot leave. Catch my breath here. Your travel is part of the response to the COVID outbreak, including the provision of aid. Your travel is essential. So this is a list of criteria on the Border Force website. You are traveling to receive urgent medical treatment that is not available in Australia. You are traveling on urgent, unavoidable personal business. You are traveling on compassionate or humanitarian grounds. Your travel is in national interest. So they arrested a lady the other day. Here's the photos here of the protest in Australia. So the news always says there's 5 people on the street, and when you look at it, there's a lot more than 5 people on the street, right? Oh, there's only 5 people on the street. Don't worry. There's only 5 people there, right? Yeah, 5 people. Right there, 5 people. There's 5 people right there. All right, let's get...
Invented the light bulb, not a white guy named Edison. A black man invented the light bulb, not a white guy named Edison.
All right, that was an important message there. Thank you, Joe. All right, so let's get our man, Stephen Thomas, on the show. I need Stephen to come on the show right the hell now. Lady gets arrested for organizing...
Hello.
Hey, Stephen Thomas, how are you, my brother?
I'm good. How are you today?
You know how it is. You win some, you lose some.
Yes, exactly. I think we just lost.
Buddy, I got the article you sent me. I got the other articles I open up here, and you're in the heart of this. You're right in the heart of this.
Yes.
Did you go to the rally today?
No, I had a previous medical appointment I needed to attend yesterday.
Okay. Just making sure, because if you were there, you could have got some footage for us. But that's okay. No worries.
Yes.
So,
yes.
Steve, call a spade here. What the hell is going on there?
Really, what we're seeing is the disintegration of Melbourne.
But disintegrated into what? The rest of the country? Is it going to be
Yes,
a Chinese autonomous region? What are they doing?
Well, as I said a while ago, I think I mentioned the Belt and Road project economically makes sense. However, because of the politics of it, it means that Victoria State is indebted to China.
Okay, now we're getting somewhere here. Okay, so I wasn't too far off when I called the state of Victoria an autonomous region of China.
That's right. So what that means is when we get to a point where our debts are too much, no one can fund it except China. Well, guess what happens? We get taken over.
Wow. I have...
Now, sorry, I was going to say, if you look at a country like Sri Lanka, where they tried to do the same thing and the Sri Lankans said, no, you will not do that. But unfortunately, our government haven't got to that stage and they're just falling for it.
Yes, I did speak to someone. I actually spoke to one of the family members of the new Sri Lankan, I guess, viceroy of Sri Lanka, or the viceroy of Sri Lanka. And he basically told me that, you know what, Mike, I watch your housing show, and you're right. We said no to China. We're not following with the reprimand from the previous family that was running the country, and we're going against this 100%. Keep up the good work.
Yes. Yes.
So why is Australia so hard-pressed to have an independent, like, why do they want to is it that Australian Parliament or Australian leadership have no clue what they're doing, so it's best to hand it over to some communist country?
Well, more or less, yes. You got to remember the states are acting independently of the federal government in the national cabinet.
Okay.
So the Prime Minister has no power.
So then what happens to... So that's why you have a specific region in the country that looks like it could easily secede if it had to.
Well, I'll tell you today, Western Australia look like also succeeding for the opposite reasons to what we will.
So can you see a breakup of Australia in the future?
Yes.
Now, what's the political gain? I understand what the political gain would be in control in the East, but what's to stop people fleeing to the West, building it up like they did in infrastructure and build their lives again, and then get taken over again by sell out parliament leaders?
Well, this is the end game, isn't it? Because no one really knows. Because no one's saying at the moment, it's all top secret. If you find out, you'll get done for incitement here.
Yes, just like that pregnant lady got arrested for talking about, she got arrested for organizing or discussing a rally?
Yes, correct.
Yeah, see, the thing is, here it is. Like, that's freedom of assembly, right? And
Yes.
countries like Australia, Canada, UK like to believe they have a constitution like America does. America's constitution is very fine black and white print that goes point, discussion, end. Point, discussion, end. There's no if, ands, or a but. If you look at the Australian, the Canadian, all the constitutions from the Commonwealth, you would notice that it's very vague.
Yes. Our actually constitution was written in the 19th century, the 19th century, and it was promoted to England and royal assent in 1901.
Right. The Commonwealth.
So what that means, it took about 10 or 15 years to get it accepted across the line by the Queen of England, which was then Queen Victoria.
Right. Right. And she visited Australia in 1972, right?
No.
No, her mom. I'm talking about the daughter.
Queen Elizabeth.
Yeah, Queen Elizabeth.
Yes.
Sorry, Queen Elizabeth. Yeah.
Yes.
Wow. Okay, so do you still have to can't go 5 kilometers out of your house or 5 miles out of your house? Are you still under those heavy regulations?
Yes, we are, and it's just been extended about an hour ago for 2 weeks.
That's correct. Yes, I'm thinking this could go for. Okay, you brought this up. We brought this up. We discussed this like 5 weeks ago. That this could go for 24 months.
Yes, that's right.
Steven, I don't know what to say, man. I really don't know what to say. So,
Well, I'll tell you another story too.
Please.
I've heard a lot of people comment to me their income is about to go down by 40 to 50% in the next 4 to 6 weeks.
right. We're
The
talking about the
question
financial
becomes-
the financial cliff of September, October, right?
Correct.
Right.
So the thing is, if you stay in Melbourne, what do you do for food? Because if you can't afford it, that's it. You have no life.
That's
So
scary.
you have to move.
That's very scary, Steven. So, okay, extensions. What's this mandatory app they want you to get now? So if they know you're out of your radius, they can catch you?
That's the COVID app.
Okay, so what happens if you don't have it and they pull you over?
Well, nothing at the moment.
Okay.
It's a case of it will come a time where if you don't have it, then they will fine you too.
Okay. Wow. Okay, so, and last week when you were on Trends in the Housing Market, you told us that there's a 170% vacancy rate in Victoria right now.
The vacancy rate has actually gone up 140% in, I think, some time frame like 6 months. Now, of that is primarily in Melbourne City or Greater Melbourne.
The more expensive areas.
Correct.
So now let me ask you, Steve, like you got the Outback, you got all kinds of places there, you could go fishing, you got all kinds. What is it? Could someone easily live off grid in Australia if they had to?
Yes, it's very easy to do. All you really need for work is basically a good internet connection and a bit of water, bit of food, good land, fertile land for growing stuff, and then you're good to go.
Interesting.
So you don't need to be Sydney, Melbourne, or Brisbane at all.
And I've been telling people to get the F out of those cities like 4 years ago.
Yes.
I've been telling people this is way overpriced, and the average and you know what I'm talking about. You're a broker, you're an accountant, you're a financial, therapist, so to say.
Yes.
A
that's
financial
right.
therapist. I said it right. A financial therapist. Because a lot of people need to sit down and discuss their finances because sometimes people can't accept the situation they're in, right, Stephen?
Correct.
Wow.
I'm actually in the situation myself where my own personal income will drop by 45% in the next 6 weeks.
See, that would be okay if you were living in Costa Rica.
Yes.
But
I'm
you're in a
Melbourne,
very
so
expensive
I can't
country.
afford that. Yes, exactly. Holy
crap. If you go down 40% in Australia, you're toast. But what I mean,
Yes.
But you're working from home, right?
Yes, even then it doesn't matter. And I'll tell you why it goes down so much is because the subsidies we get from the government in JobKeeper and JobSeeker are slowly being removed over the next 4 to 6 weeks to the point where they're coming, I think, about 35 to 45% down.
That's huge.
Yes.
I can't even mathematically put that in my head. It's huge. So if you make 100 large a year, you're down to 60. And
Correct.
after tax, you take home 30.
Yep.
And then food is like, food in Australia is crazy because they export
Yes.
everything to China.
Yes, that's right.
Holy crap. Oh, Stephen. Okay, you know what, buddy? Keep us on the pulse. Let us know.
Yes, I will.
Keep an eye out on things for us. And if you have a camera phone or a phone, just throw the video up. I mean, what do you got to lose now? I mean, they've taken away
Nothing. Seriously, there's nothing to lose anymore. This is it.
Those are powerful words, Stephen.
Yeah. You either do something or die.
Yeah. Holy crap. All right, Stephen. God bless you, and
Thank you.
and we'll be definitely in touch. Okay, buddy.
No worries. Alrighty.
Take care, brother.
Bye-bye. Bye.
That is Stephen Thomas, guys, and he's been with us through trends in the housing market for years. When I kept, he's like, yeah, Mike, you are right. You are. It's not that I'm trying to have some people on the show to confirm what I'm saying is true. It's that it's a spade. We're calling a spade a spade. So we're not going around the, Adam. Anyways. So we got Anna Key saying JobKeeper started at $1,500 per fortnight. Now it's gone to $1,200 to March $1,200 to March next year. So this is it. Seems extreme, says Paul S. Great call, Stephen Thomas. Oh, Stephen Thomas is amazing. Morgan Davies in the house. Mike in the right. How you doing, buddy? Hope you're doing good down there in Arizona. We got Mr. Wright saying 4 weeks seeds can grow, make a farm to eat. Yeah. See, in Australia, I think, the further north you go in Australia, the more warmer the weather is all year round. And again, if you could be in an area where you could basically grow tobacco, kiwis, oranges, have a plantation, I think you could be okay because you could grow all year. In Canada, I mean, there's parts of Canada, I mean, you got 8 months, 7-8 months, you can't do nothing. Wow. I'm just, that last caller just absolutely took my breath away. We know what's happening. And I just don't want what's happening in Australia to happen here, obviously, in Canada. Canada will be the next country right after. So there it is. Lockdown protests. Lockdown extended by 2 weeks. Anti-lockdown COVID protesters arrested in Melbourne. And then we got Australian tourists can't leave their country, including to visit Thailand. I don't even know what to say, man. There's the pictures of the 5 people that were in the protest. Looks like more a couple of thousand people to me. I like the media. Several hundred people turned out to a protest. And you look at the pictures, it's like, yeah, like in Germany, the Canadian mainstream publicly funded taxpayer media said several hundred protesters showed up to today's rally. Liam, how are you, my brother?
Hey, I'm okay. Sorry to interrupt you. You okay?
No, that's okay. I'm going to go to what you sent me here. So what is this thing you sent me here?
Yeah, just click on it.
I have it here. Yeah, it's a thread, a tale of Onra.
Which link have you?
The last one you sent me from thing. It's can anyone verify the authenticity of this website?
Yeah. So if you click on the actual website that I sent you, not the Twitter post, but the actual website.
Okay, I got it right here. WITS World Integrated Trade Solution.
Yeah, it's this is what's blowing my mind today. So this is basically trade information between countries from the World Bank.
Okay.
And if you see the website, it says wits.worldbank.org.
Right.
And you can Google that and verify it's a genuine website. It's COVID-19 tests, and it shows you each country how many pieces they ordered.
Yeah,
but that's not the shocking thing. What will blow your mind is look at the date.
It's all 2018.
Yeah. And to verify that even more, look at the URL. The full length of the URL is basically says country-all-year-2018. So it's not a false URL. It's not edited.
It's not.
It's a proper. That will blow your mind.
Okay, guys, we got it right here. Breaking on the channel, guys. Don't worry, other big channels will pick this up and re-roll it in their own integrity. But we got Liam on the ground, and he basically... Okay, here it is. WITS, COVID-19 test kits, exports by country in 2018. And this is definitely not a rewrite or like what he's saying here. Here it goes here. European Union exported product code, COVID-19 test kits, year 2018, world, partner world. Total value in US dollars, $28 million in tests. Germany, United States, Belgium, France, Singapore, Croatia, China, Costa Rica. There's Canada buying their test kits. They bought $11,000 worth of test kits, Canada.
But you know something else that'll blow your mind?
Mm.
If you haven't been blown already. If you correlate the amount of test kits each country has purchased and look at the amount that each country apparently has of people that actually have it.
Mm-hmm.
So the countries that are ordering a low amount of test kits, they have a low amount of virus.
Yeah, okay, let's look here. Let's look at the low.
Remember, this is back in 2018, right? This is not like a 1 month old thing. This is 2 years ago.
Yeah, okay, so that's why Portugal has a low count, because they have 1,213 kits they bought. Then the Slovak Republic has 88 kits, and then Luxembourg has 15 kits they ordered.
Mm-hmm.
Wow, this is pretty harsh to stomach. So here it is, guys. A WITS, World Integrated Trade Solution, order kits ordered for COVID-19 test kits, exports by country in 2018.
And again, the major point, if you look at the long version of the URL, it's /2018. So it's not edited, it's not being rehashed, it's not a fake or anything.
It's definitely
it's
not.
From .worldbank.org. It's all verifiable. So if you ever thought that something was going on, well, this was all because you think about it. The name. You know when they when things happen in the world, viruses and things, they put the number of the year, right? 19 is the year apparently that it was found, and if it was found in 15, they'd put 15.
Mm-hmm.
And this verifies they knew about it way before 2018, because also how long does it take to create these kits, right? To produce them.
Okay, I'm going to put the link in the chat. So here it is. There's the link in the chat. Someone's asking, I don't think so. COVID, you guys think COVID is fake? No, we're not saying it's fake. We are saying that this country's ordered these test kits in 2018. So what's is the gig up? What's going on here?
Yeah, like we're not claiming it is or isn't. We don't know 100%, right? But what we do know is that they knew about it before the date, right? That's the point. The point is whether it's real or not is irrelevant.
Yeah, it's irrelevant if it's real or not. Like you said,
pre-planned. Yeah. Is pre-planned. But
so
what's
Liam,
going on in Australia is crazy, man. That's blowing my mind as well. It's insane what's going on in Australia.
Oh, it's beyond insane. It's you. I think the creator of what you call that at the Twilight Zone wouldn't even believe what's happening.
And it's like you've said many times. You look for Australia first, right? It seems Australia is the place that they're really pushing, right? The lockdowns and the force of the police, like going to people's houses just because they put a post on the internet. Yeah. So they must be pretty scared of us, right?
Well,
Like
definitely.
A pregnant lady, I think, I don't know if you've shown that already.
Yeah, well, I discussed it.
Yeah. Not just that. It's this. Do you think it's going to happen in Canada and the rest of the Western world?
Well, I said that Australia is definitely the blueprint, and I've been saying it for years. I haven't been saying it for weeks now, like other channels.
You have.
Years. Yeah. And I know that what's been happening there, especially with the housing, then affordability levels. And then when they started to Australia started to sell off its water during a major fire. And then all their biggest mines are owned by China in Perth. Then you start to put the numbers together. It could be like Stephen Thomas said earlier, that Melbourne, because Melbourne is so heavily indebted to China that it might become an autonomous region of China.
Mm-hmm.
And they're rolling out the 5G in Darwin, and they're already putting up cameras along that major highway that they have, that long, straight highway that goes across the country. They're already putting up cameras everywhere, and I don't think it is if your car breaks down, someone comes and helps you. I think they want to make sure, they know where you're at, and they know where you're going, and they know who you're talking to, and then they know. It's like, why? Like, and again, Liam, we talked about this many times. Liam, I'm going to be dead in 25 years, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Why do they want this? What's the point? That's
Well,
what I'm saying. If our life expectancy was 400 years old, that's a long time in your life to start a new country, starting new ID, starting new language, you know what I'm saying, right, Liam? But I'm going to be dead in 20 years. What's the point of all this crap?
What I don't understand is why the leaders are selling all their produce and all of the things that the country needs to China. Like, we're just normal people, right? We're nobody. Mm-hmm. And if we was running the countries, right, we would know not to sell our prizely possessions to a far-flung place that when we need them more than they do.
Right.
Well, they probably need it more than us, but I mean, it's ours, right? We've grown it, our water supplies, our food, corn, whatever. Why would you be selling it off when you can see what's coming on the horizon? I don't understand that. They can't. Can they be that stupid to be selling all our food, produce?
I think the people who are in that position don't have to worry about getting food because they have access to it and they have enough funds to take care of them and their families. I think it's the people like us, the nobodies, that basically they're not looking after. So it's basically the people that are making these big choices. They don't care. They're set up. They're good to go. They don't.
How evil must you be to be signing that away, knowing that what you're doing is so wrong, right?
Well, Liam, that's why they want to abolish religion. That's why they want to abolish Christianity. They want to abolish all this stuff because then this way they don't feel so bad,
Mm-hmm.
So they don't feel so bad about betraying their neighbor, betraying their fellow citizens, betraying their own blood.
Yeah. Well, and also obviously follow the money, right?
Yeah, follow the money. It's all about money. If you want to find out who did what and what did what, what triggered what war, follow the money.
Yeah. I'm just, my mind is just blown from what I just shared with you. I've just found it like an hour ago.
I appreciate you coming on and telling us first here.
It's this, I don't know, man. The thing that worries me is that what's going to happen by 2021, right? I feel that something crazy is going to happen before then, before the election and all that kind of stuff in the United States. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know how you keep a level head. Does it not drive you crazy, or do you?
I'm going to be really honest with you, Liam.
Mm-hmm.
I just spend time with my kids. We go fly kites. We play board games. We do stuff together a lot, and I teach them. I'm teaching them Portuguese. So that there's an option of 9 countries to move to if they want to be an engineer, so they don't have to fight over the scraps in Canada for an engineer job or whatever they want to do. They could go to Angola, they could go to Brazil, they could make a life for themselves without having to be under this Anglo Commonwealth yoke that people are believing that they're in the best of. You know what I'm saying?
Doesn't it make you want to cry to think like what the world's going to be like when they're older in like 10, 20 years?
No, no, because I'm gonna make sure my kids are they understand the flip side of things right now. Like they get it. I want to make sure my kids know when they're getting the wool pulled over. I want my kids to understand, you know what I'm saying? And then when they're old enough, I'll start teaching them Spanish and start make sure they understand that too. It's a really big, widely spoken language. And I'm going to just slowly move them forward into, just kind of, and that's what my mission is in life. You know what I'm saying? To make sure that they're set up in a way so they wouldn't have to suffer.
Mm-hmm.
Like there's people with two major, two incomes in one house, 6-figure incomes, and they're struggling and starving. That's not right.
Mm-hmm. I understand. Another video that blew my mind. I was searching on YouTube, and there's a video about underground tunnels in London.
Yes.
I don't know if you've seen those kind of videos
Yes.
where people just basically open a hatch and just start looking around the tunnels under the city of London.
They have a lot of those going from the United States into Mexico, like a lot of professionally built ones.
Yeah, the ones that I saw in London, basically, it's all of the internet cables, the power cables, the telephone lines, gas lines, is basically just under tunnels under the city of London.
Mm-hmm.
And people, if you know which door to open or which hatch to open, you can gain access to all of that. And this is what blew my mind, is that anyone can pretty much just get access to it, and you could, do something very bad, right?
You know what? London's far gone. I don't think anyone cares to bring London's economy down. I don't think London's on the table anymore. That's just me.
Yeah, but also, like, the point really is that they claim that there's people in caves trying to end our lifestyle, right?
Oh, wasn't that in that movie Demolition Man?
Huh? What's that?
That movie Demolition Man, when these people were living underground.
I haven't seen that movie.
You want to watch Demolition Man with Wesley Snipes, and what's that guy, Rocky guy there, Sylvester Stallone? You want to watch that movie because that's exactly what happens. There's people living underground in the future, and they come above ground to fight for food and scraps because they don't want to be part of the agenda.
Okay. I'll check it out.
Demolition Man.
But
yeah, don't watch it with kids though.
Cool.
There's a lot of swearing in that movie.
I try to not watch movies these days because it just makes me so depressed, because you kind of know what's the hidden storyline.
Mm-hmm.
So I try to not watch movies. It just makes me want to cry. But that's pretty much it. I just wanted to share that information with you all. And just wanted to say it's pretty crazy in Australia. Just make sure everyone's prepared, right? Make sure you got food, and prepare for what might come. So
okay, Liam, God bless you. Stay strong, okay, buddy?
Bye. Thank you. Bye.
Bye. That is Liam, our underground reporter there. I think he's in the UK now. I should have asked him if he got out of if he's back in the UK. All right, guys, people of the night, you are tuned in to Mike in the Night. Woo! Wow, what a show tonight, guys. Guys, share this video while it's live so people could jump on. And people that are jumping on now, you want to kind of scroll back to the beginning of the show if you can and get a little bar back, because there's quite a few things that we've covered already, some pretty big movements that are happening. And I don't even know how to say it in the English language. I don't even know how to say it in any language. You're considered, I don't know, they automatically label you if you're asking for the ingredients. Whether you're asking for the ingredients in a law, when they make a law, they sprinkle some words and they make laws. They make a serum or a vaccine or something. They sprinkle ingredients in there. If you ask about it, you're labeled. You're put into this section. Anyways, guys. So great info, Liam. Thank you so much for bringing that up, guys. I'll give you the website again. Guys, this is... So here is the WITS World Integrated Trade Solution. These are the test kits that were ordered for COVID-19 in 2018 by country. In 2018. 2018. Oh, yeah. A very important message from Joe. Hello, Joe. Joe, you there?
History in history classes.
Yeah. Thank you, Joe.
A black man invented the light bulb,
Okay.
not a white guy named Edison.
Okay, thank you, Joe. Good luck on your presidential run. Australia tourists can't leave their country, including to visit Thailandia. Oh, we got cut off. Hopefully we get reconnected here. I'm not sure what is cutting us off. What do I have running in the... I got nothing running in the background. I got nothing running in the background, guys. Okay, we're back up now. Yeah, we are, I think we're getting, they're striking us down. Yeah, they're striking us down, guys. All right. No cutoff? All right. We're not cut off. We're going good. All right. Thank you, guys. Okay, so there it is. Okay, let's move on. So again, the media says, oh, yeah, several dozen people have taken to the streets in Australia. And this is it right here. Several dozen people. I don't know, it looks like a lot more than a dozen people there to me. It looks a lot more like a dozen people. Looks like 4,000 people, maybe 6. So there it is right there. That looks a lot more like than, yeah. All right, let's catch up with some news before we do a channel plug at the first hour of the show. Then we'll get somebody else on. BLM rioters shut down restaurants in Rochester, New York, baby. Smash bank windows in Manhattan during latest night of mayhem. Wow. So I guess COVID doesn't work when you're protesting. I guess COVID goes on vacation when you protest. I'm not kind of, and if I question it, or if I question something like this, what would it be? Am I a Nazi? A racist? I don't even know what to call it anymore. Dead. Virus cells frequently trigger false positives in most common COVID test, new study finds. So last week's show, we discussed how they're testing for a gene or a genome or some sort of organism in us or some sort of code in us that every human being has, and everyone comes up positive. So, do any lives actually matter? Just what exactly would lives mattering look like? Yeah, what does that mean? Anyway, MLB ratings crash. That's Major League Baseball. As wokeness takes its toll, get woke, go broke. Demograph is density. Amazon contract drivers after cell phone tree exploit discovered. Oh my God. The next normal is central bankism transitioning to fascism. So now you're going to get the funny money being printed, and then that money is going to go ahead and buy out stocks, and it's basically going to privatize our public companies, basically. So it's right here. Feudalism to capitalism to financialization to central bankism. I think Max Kaiser on a show calls it the Cantillionaire effect, by the Cantillionaires, the club. Patriotism punished Virginia shipworker fired over Trump 2020 hat. Air Force vet quits over American flag mask ban. So, yeah. Wow. Dramatic video. Tesla reportedly ran out of control on Chinese city street, leaving mangled bodies behind. Wow. So plugging into small everything, wake up and smell the 3 C's, community, cash, and coin. All right, let's look at what these guys over here at the Gateway Pundit are saying. Were the media hundreds of armed activists march in Louisville outside of Churchill Downs on Kentucky Derby Day. There's the video. Antifa unmasked. Portland police tackle Antifa black bloc militant and yank off her black mask. Antifa militant cries like a baby as police arrest her during another night of violent riots in Portland. What the hell is happening in, like, of all places, you would think Portland would be... Oh. All right, let's get Mitch. Let's get Mitch on for 5 minutes here. Where's Mitch? Is Mitch watching? Mitch, are you awake? Mitch! Let's see if we can get Mitch on the show real quick. He's in Portland. He's in Oregon. Oh, he's not online. Okay, I wanted to get Mitch online. I just want to know what the heck is going on there. Like, seriously? Really? Oregon? Like, really? I guess it's the easiest place to bus people to or to get people to that destination. I'm not sure. Okay, so here it is. COVID-19 divide. Northern wall between U.S. and Canada could stay up longer than anyone expected. Could it be that a bunch of Canadians are fleeing south of the border? You know? I had someone tell me the other day that came into my store, the best place to be homeless is in a warmer climate. At least if you can't afford to live, you're productive, you tried your best in life, best place to be homeless is in a warmer climate. And someone told me that the other day. So American family sent back to the US after caught vacationing in Vancouver. They were having a family vacation and they were sent back to America. I think Canada's going to do all it can to piss off the States. Portland police make multiple arrests sitting nears 100 days of protests. What are they fighting for? This is a lot worse than the Watts riots. What are they going to accomplish from this? Okay, I know someone that will know the answer. I'm going to call her right now.
Hi, Mike. How are you?
Good. How are you, my friend?
I'm good. Early around here. One sec.
So this is Layla on the show. She's from Syria, so she's giving us a kind of view from outside in. So let's welcome her to the show. Layla, thanks for coming.
Yeah, no worries.
Okay.
How's it going, Mike? What do you want? So many things going on.
I know. Okay. Okay, you sent me that link. Okay, let's start off with Australia. What do you think of that? What do you think what's transpiring in Australia? How does it make you feel?
Are you referring to that, what is it, Simply Fly link about Australians not being able to travel outside?
Yeah, never mind that. And Australians can't even leave their homes, and people pregnant women getting arrested for posting a link of some sort of an assembly.
Yeah, it's really, really worrisome, Mike. I really think Australia is a pilot. I don't know how bad it's going to get in other countries, but it does sound like they can lock down travel. I mean, isn't Canada like that right now?
See, Canada, no, it's open to China. I think Canada had open flights to China right through this whole thing.
Outside of Canada, from Canada to China?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
So can you guys travel outside of Canada or can't you? Do you know?
I don't. I think that China to Canada is okay. I think Canada to China is still okay. I'm not too sure what's happening with like you could fly to some places. I think you can't fly to the States. There is a travel ban.
Well, I find that really scary.
It is. We got Blunt News in the comments saying, try to introduce this show to some friends tonight. Big fail. That Biden clip is supposedly fake, and the COVID restrictions are not that bad. So not that bad in Australia, or
I mean, in Australia, it looks like presently it's the worst in the world.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, Mike, there's a cool tool called covidcontrols.co,
Mm-hmm.
and in there they're covering which countries are on total lockdown, which countries are open for travel, and things like that. It might be
Oh.
good to track. I think it's accurate.
Let me ask you: when Liam came on the show and gave us that little list of countries that order the 2018 testing kits,
What to say? I mean, we knew a while back that it was something that was planned for. I think it was it Event 201 that that planned all of this, but Event 201 was pretty close to the beginning of the whole thing, sometime in the fall, right, of last year. Another thing was the patents for the viruses. These were patented a while back,
they
right,
were.
in
That's
the
correct. We
US.
brought that up a few months ago. That's correct. I remember that now.
Right. So, yeah, I mean, pandemic is the most accurate way to call it.
So now you got this pandemic. Everything is basically on fire. The America's falling apart with these. Well, it's not. Well, I wouldn't go as far as falling apart, but they're making it look like it's falling apart, and they're going 100 days of protests. Now, what's the okay? Are they gonna? I mean, I don't know. I don't know what the end game of this is. I understand it's to distract because we are in an election year. I think they're trying to go all out to distract as much as possible.
I think it's pretty aggressive for a distraction, but the riots are improving Trump's ratings, so there's a reason he's not doing much about it right now. And then on the other end, which city called for the National Guard? I think one city called for the National Guard,
I think was it
and
Washington?
so
I think it was Washington D.C.
possibly I forget. I mean, there's so many protests now, and Lord in the comments was just saying that Louisville is next tonight with Black Lives Matter. So it's happening all over the place. And the thing is, you hear when it first starts, but then you don't hear when it continues. And so, for example, Portland, it's been going on since the beginning. It's not like the riots stopped. There's still a lot of chaos in there and some violence. And so at some point, the cities are going to call in the National Guard. And what that's going to do is help with the lockdown.
I'm getting
Right, so-
it here. Okay, the pieces are coming together. Here we go. So here it is. Layla just kind of, I guess, completed that circuit in my brain. So I have a complete circuit now, guys. It's going around. So they're gonna keep up with this crap, so they could bring in the guard, and they would go ahead and enforce martial law and move forward in whatever bigger plans they have or whatever bigger agenda they might have. Right? I
Yeah,
think if
so
Trump
already when
gets
it's an
reelected,
emergency, Mike.
huh?
Yeah, go ahead. Sorry, Mike.
I think if Trump gets reelected, there might be some sort of bigger issues in these riots. So I'm thinking that they're going to have that ready and they're going to have it on lockdown and they're good to go during election, in my opinion. Yeah, I think you're 100% right on this. They're allowing this to go so people can get fed up, and then National Guard gets called in, and then they go ahead and start imposing martial laws, closing borders between states, checkpoints between states, and the whole 9 yards. You're right, Layla, 100%.
I think that's really possible, Mike. The way you put it, I think that's really, really possible. And the thing is that they're, it could be because of the election, or they're going to use the election to make it seem like everyone is rioting against each other because the liberals don't want Trump and they're going to fall apart if Trump gets elected. But at the same time, it is really just using it, taking advantage of it to escalate the riots. So come the election, it can be a lot more violent than what we're seeing now in the US. And that's just going to invite more control and the National Guard and, the martial law, as you put it. At the same time, Mike, there's already a high degree of martial law, because anytime there's an emergency, like whether there's a COVID or something else, regular laws get suspended. That's why they can do whatever they do, like what they're doing in Australia. Not that they care about the law anyway, but they make it sound like it's a national emergency, and so basically the government can do whatever it wants. Same thing with Canada. It's a national emergency. They can spend billions of dollars, like they voted for in Parliament.
And then you have the United States digressing on their number of COVID deaths, saying that they overestimate or they overshot it. And then you have other countries coming forward with the same thing. And they're like, oh, it's okay to riot. If you're out there protesting or riot or peaceful, whatever the heck they want to call it nowadays. They call it a peaceful protest, but everything, cars getting flipped over and torched. And then now, it's like how can one person follow this big grand agenda? Now there are rumors of food shortages. Now, could it be an engineered? I don't think there'll be a food shortage, but I think they could engineer one, right?
I think the food shortages are well on their way. I mean, I don't think they're trying to hide it. In the U.S., there's a lot of issues going on with that. There's this guy on YouTube called Ice Age Farmers. He covers it really, really well. Every so often, there's something shutting down. There's a hurricane that destroys a lot of things. They're restructuring sort of the whole supply chain. Labeling is changing. There's a whole lot of things happening, and it's happening very clearly in the U.S. In Canada, I don't know about the rest of Canada, but there's something going on in Ontario with the farms. Mm-hmm. They're trying to make it seem like immigrant workers in the farms are not treated well, and they're exposed. They have a high risk exposure to COVID, and so they want to shut down the farms in the interest of these workers. And it's like, well, it's pretty obvious that that's it's not in the interest of the workers, because if it were, you would just change the way the whole thing operates. You wouldn't shut down the whole farm and put everyone else at risk. Everyone who who lives off the farm, including the customers. But this is happening, and then you have the very aggressive, very obvious tactics like what they did in Beirut. The bomb had destroyed a lot of the grain silos. Mm-hmm. Well, it destroyed them completely.
That's correct,
yes. And everything else that comes into that port, and that's also part of the sanctions. And I think they're working hard to starve people. I don't think they're really hiding it, and I think it's a big deal.
Leila, do you remember? I don't know, about a decade ago in the United States. 2 decades ago, they were promoting people to get solar panels, get your own energy, create energy, sell it back to the city. 20 years ago. Then 10 years pass, and some states made it illegal to collect your own solar power. They made it illegal to collect your own solar power 10 years down the road. And I have a feeling, and I've been talking to someone who sits on council in some country that told me something the other day that actually kind of woke me up. Because it brought me back to this whole solar panel thing. Like, you're telling people to get solar panels to save the earth, and then after 10 years later, the energy companies aren't making their conglomerate fees and all the money they make in all the backroom deals. So then now they want to go against people and put them in jail for having solar panels or make it illegal. But here's the punchline, Leila. They're thinking in some states or places in the world, I'm not going to mention too much because I promised I wouldn't, to make it illegal to grow your own food.
That's something he mentions, the Ice Age Farmer guy. Why did he come to that conclusion? Yeah, he picked up an article where someone got poisoned from their own something that they grew themselves. Mm-hmm. So he was saying this is a scare tactic that they're going to start to employ in order to prevent people from growing their own food, and that's going to be an entry point for down the line to make it illegal, because then people, they're going to make it sound like the governments want to protect their people from bad practices, bad agriculture practices in your backyard and things like that, and make it illegal. In Ontario, in Toronto, specifically in Toronto, you're not allowed to have chickens in your backyard.
Right.
I think that was a neighbor thing, like where the neighbors complain and things like that, because Toronto is a more densely populated city, and not in my backyard kind of thinking. You know what I mean? And yeah, I think that's definitely possible. But that tells you that it's pretty much priority. The food supply is priority, for them. It is part of this whole COVID, or the bigger plan of shutting down the world, and the population thing. It's going to be the population thing.
And you know,
So
Layla,
so Mike, you're aware of some things going on with the food supply that they might make it illegal. Is that what you're hinting at?
well, there's something happened in Canada, and a lot of people forgot about this. This is actually a big deal if you're in the States, and if you're in Australia, if you're anywhere watching this in the Commonwealth. We were covering a big story on the channel here on Mike in the Night. We're covering just first, second week of December. There was a huge coast to coast headlines that there's so much lead in Canadian cities' water that it makes Flint, Michigan look like a joke. And before you know it, boom, we get hit with COVID, and the whole lead in our water and water systems just disappeared. I've been trying to find write-ups and updates on articles about that. If this is true, then there's other things that are basically taking us out before COVID or anything else. And I remember reading these huge, long written articles by the CBC, like all these big Canadian. We're not talking about on Zero Hedge or the Gateway Pundit. We're talking about like big BBC and all these ones saying Canada's water is dangerous. Canada's water has so much lead in its arsenic or all these levels and this and that. This is a crisis. And then boom, COVID hits, and that got swept under the rug. And that's what's concerning me, Layla. The real agendas that we're not issuing.
Yeah.
And that's, that will affect our water supply. I mean, the water supply will affect our food supply, right?
Definitely. Well, I think COVID is pretty much is not hidden, and I do think it would be part of the agenda.
But it's not going to kill us
right,
like the lead in our water will.
That's true.
So that's
That is
what
very true.
Because if you bring up the articles that we brought up in December of last year in 2019, it was a coast-to-coast thing. They were testing waters in Ottawa. They were testing waters in Toronto. They were testing waters in Vancouver. Was horrendously terrible water. There was so much like poisoning in the water that it was just like lead and crap. Like Flint, Michigan is like Flint who? You know what I'm saying?
So what's the reason it's so high in Canada?
Well, it's because the infrastructure, the piping, the waterworks
believe
systems.
that.
We pay for
I
our
don't
water
believe
bill.
that.
We pay a lot for a water bill. There's some places like in Brampton, Ontario, where you have to pay for the water that runs off your roof into the drain on the street.
Yeah,
But they
right,
don't maintain any of the water systems and cleaning treatment plants and all that stuff. They don't care. They don't do anything about it.
I once read a long time ago, and I completely forget the details, that there's a nuclear disaster somewhere in Canada that was sort of covered up, or something similar.
Mm-hmm.
And I have to wonder if that didn't make it into the water, because regular infrastructure like asbestos and these things, yes, they're bad, but Canada is not as densely populated as other countries to have such a disproportionately high levels of dangerous lead in the water. It's a smaller country, so the infrastructure is not as abundant, as another country. I know, for example, in the Gulf, it's really, really bad in Abu Dhabi and the Gulf area because of the oil industry and all of that, and the oil and gas. But Canada, I don't know. Yeah, it's possible.
Yeah, well, because again, the infrastructure, that a lot of the pipes, and when they were, this was December. This was a big deal. Everyone, they were going to go have council meetings about it. They were going to, communities were getting together to get their water tested. There was all kinds of stuff happening for 3 days, and then boom, COVID.
The thing is, Mike, I don't think they're worried about our health anymore. I don't think they care about, covering for that.
Okay.
I think it's pretty clear that they're just going to go all out and lock down people, at this point, like in Australia, like what they're doing in Australia. Are you remotely worried that this might come to Canada?
It is coming to Canada. The question is, the thing that worries me the most is how will they implement it? That's what I'm afraid of. I know it's coming to Canada, and I've been saying it for years, and just follow Australia and you'll see it happen in Canada. The problem is, I'm just concerned on how they decide to implement it, or what could they shake up in the background to get everyone to adhere to, right?
Well, that's the thing, Mike. I don't think they need to shake up anything in the background. I think they're just going to do it in your face. Like I know that I said that I don't think it's going to be as forceful or as aggressive in Canada as it is in Australia. But it can be, and you just might not hear about it. I mean, in Canada, they're very good at media blackouts. They do this all the time. You never know what's going on anywhere. You have to really dig it out if you find it. And already, it seems that the country is locked down. I don't know, was it Raven who said he was trying to go to Mexico or travel somewhere, and he wasn't able to?
Yeah.
If you get him on the show, you might want to ask him that, because I think he likes to. It sounds like he likes to travel south.
He wanted to go. I think it was Santo Domingo, Dominican Republic. He wanted to go.
Well, it'd be nice. It would be nice to know if he was able to. Like, what happened? What did they tell him? Why he can't travel? Because I know that they tell you on the Canadian government website that you want to avoid. That you're advised to avoid all non-essential travel, but I don't know what that translates into when you actually try to book a flight and get out. If they tell you that you can't, I think it's really concerning, and I would say it's time to get out.
Well, it's
because
it's like this. Like during
the
when
next
we're
thing
talking
might
about
be the vaccine.
Well, we were talking
The
about
next thing is
COVID
the
in January. Remember in January, February, we were in January covering COVID because the media wasn't, and then once the media got their hooks on it, we stopped covering it. But I remember in January, they had flights open to China, but you could fly to China from Canada, but you couldn't fly into the United States. And that was really weird. No, that wasn't around March. In March, when the thing started going really hot, we stopped covering the whole COVID thing because the whole mainstream media was making a mess of everything, and nothing made sense, and the stories weren't adding up, and the consistency wasn't there, and it was a bunch of Mickey Mouse. But the fact that you could get on a plane in Vancouver and fly to China with no hindrance and not even be tested for anything, but you couldn't get on a plane and fly to California. Like, that's crazy.
Yeah. But they're not worried. Obviously they're doing it in broad daylight, and they're not trying to hide anything. But I think it's really worth finding out if you are locked into Canada, because I think the next step will be the vaccine. So, they can walk into people's homes in Australia and arrest this woman for posting something on Facebook. And someone else was saying that in Melbourne, was it, that they can take your kids and give them medicine even if you don't want them to, if they're at risk. That's apparently been happening. So if they're locking down everyone and being really, really aggressive in these ways, it's no longer, this is a police state. This is as much of a police state as it gets. Then they can force you to take a vaccine.
Well, they're going to find people that don't. But they're going to find people that don't have the application on their phones that tracks how far away from their house.
Yeah, I mean, and that's bad enough. But with people with police officers walking into homes and arresting people who are making posts on Facebook, or forcing medicine on your kids, then how far is that from forcing a vaccine? I don't think it's all that far.
Okay, Layla, I got a question here from Hollywood in the comments. So why are people giving in to this system? That's a good question.
That's that's the sad reality of it all. So what would it look like to not give into the system? Okay, so put yourself in the shoes of the woman who got arrested. Okay. For posting on Facebook. If Hollywood were in her shoes, what would he have done?
Right. He would obviously have to submit, or could be the like armed police, and she's pregnant, and
Exactly. And you saw that clip of the guy in Ireland in a train who was being forced to wear a mask by the police officer, and he wouldn't wear a mask, and they started to wrestle a little bit. He wasn't armed, but I mean, so what you're looking at is a physical confrontation, and it's just a reality that if you don't have weapons, you're not going to be able to confront the police, because the police is ever more militarized. It is ever more militarized in Canada. I saw that. So if you're not ready to actually fight, I'm not sure how else do you do it? How do you not submit if you are at when push comes to shove, like what we're seeing in Australia?
Yeah.
What would you do? That's why I suggest that if you're not ready for such an upfront confrontation, then you might want to leave. And then on top of that, you need to be by the numbers. So if it's just you who fires at a police officer, you're definitely going to end up in jail.
Right. This is really disturbing. I just, I don't know if you heard the show when Stephen Thomas came on the show earlier and was explaining to us his situation that he's going through, and his wages are going to go down 40%. And
Today?
He's in a really tough situation right now. And he's right in the heart of Melbourne. He's right there. And I had somebody I tried to bring on the show from that was at the rally yesterday in Australia, and they said they were at fear of their lives to come on the show tonight. So I'm like,
Wow.
of your life? It's like, yeah, I'm really scared of I'm in absolute fear of them really coming to my door if I come on your show.
Wow. Was it back in March? I think I told you that I felt safer here than I would feel in
You did.
Canada.
You did. You told us that like at the end of February, early March, that you felt safer in Syria than you do in Canada. And you're right. If there's a huge lack of red tape. There's no red tape in Syria. If you want to add an addition to your house in Syria, you don't have to apply for 1 million permits and pay 1,000 in Greece, 1,000 people's palms just to get an addition done on your house. You just go outside, you start making the brick, let it dry in the sun, and you start making an addition on your house. And you don't have to, as long as it's on your land, of course, you shouldn't have any problems, right?
Right. So the whole thing, it looks a bit chaotic, so my town is very good at that. So people build everywhere and there's a lot of empty shells because everything stopped during the war. So it does appear chaotic, but I have to agree with you, Mike. I prefer this kind of chaotic thing going on than to have this degree of control over people.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, to say that Syria is not a highly controlled place would be a lie. Syria has always been very, very high surveillance, and the intelligence here is something that everyone fears. They always have since forever.
Yeah.
And we do fingerprinting everywhere, by the way. I don't know if you know that, but we've always done fingerprinting like for as far back as I can remember. You stamp your thumb.
Mm-hmm.
You always did, and now that there's a bit more technology, there are some scanners in some places. Everything is done on fingerprints in Syria, and we have small bills, so we don't have big bills of money to counter crime. Like high theft and things like that. So you have lots of that going on. But for example, now with the second wave, apparently the COVID numbers are going through the roof, and doctors are dying and college professors are dying in Damascus and things like that. And they're not going to lock down stores. I think if they did, I think people would really get upset, and they would take to the streets because people really can't afford to. It's the inflation here is really, really bad, to the point that, for example, I think was it 2 pounds of chicken or something like that is close to a quarter of someone's average salary. Mm-hmm. So people aren't eating meat. They've really reduced meat. We had issues with some things like bananas. They're completely off the market. They've been off the market for a few months because they're so expensive to import. And a couple of things like that.
I mean, you could have banana farmers there. I mean, I'm pretty sure you could.
No, we don't farm bananas around here. You need more tropical. You need a more tropical, environment. And it's not all that important. Like it's not native to Syria, and people's diet is different. People's cuisine doesn't really involve. But yeah, I mean, these things are happening, but at the same time, because it's not a high red tape environment like in the West, you don't I don't feel I need to worry about vaccines. I don't think so, at least. Of course, you never know, but I don't feel that they would force it in these ways.
I don't think they could pull it off. I don't think the Syrian public would allow it, period.
I don't think so. I really don't think so. And people are armed here, proper. Like every other person has a weapon on them. Like my landlord, just, and they walk around with it. Like if they go to whatever, if they go out in the wild, for example, where they have their farms and the mountains and things. I'm still putting together a bit of some pictures and some video. I know I'm terrible with that, but there's a lot of agricultural land around where I live, and so people go out to their land, and there's a lot of Bedouins around. And they tend to, need weapons because Bedouins can steal, and they're also armed and things like that. So there's a few gangs like that people need to worry about. Not to say anything about ISIS and the whole other situation there. So
Bedouins
people,
are like
have them.
in English we'd call them like banditos, right?
I don't know, but if you want to
Banditos,
make a
rogue groups that roam the land.
Sort of, yeah, they are. So they tend to be more nomadic, but they're also native to the land. So we're actually not originally from here. We moved to here from Mount Lebanon in the 1800s because of some wars going on there. And so when they moved here, there were some issues with the local Bedouin population. So it's not true that all Arabs have always been on these lands, always, And in South Africa, for example, you hear of the Berbers, right? Who hate Arabs because Arabs moved there. So yeah, there's been some movements like that. So Bedouins are still around. They work together. They tend to do a lot of the sheep farming, and my community or my people, they tend to work on growing the fruits and vegetables. And the seasons have been great, I have to say. It's been the fig season recently, so that is delicious. Figs are amazing. So it produces lots of good stuff. It's a fabulous land, but it's unsafe in these ways. And every so often you hear gunshots. People fire. People are trigger happy. They fire off when someone gets married, when someone dies, when someone passes an exam. Like you never know if they're celebrating something or if there's a confrontation somewhere. I think confrontations still do happen a little bit. Not here, a little bit outside of towards the south. And with the issues and so I don't see them really enforcing this kind of stuff. But Australians gave in their weapons a long time ago, right? And now
God
with
forbid
Canada,
I got to
with
go to
the-
Australia and build an extension on a home there. They'll take me to the
yeah.
cleaners. I could buy a whole city
Yeah,
in
so that's-
Syria.
Yes, definitely a whole
That's
city in
crazy.
Syria. And
Hold on,
yeah,
I got a
don't forget
message
that.
here
I think-
from Somalia, from a Somalian friend here that watches the show. His name is Abdi, and he just messaged me saying that, Mike, I want to let you know. Okay, let me just read this from the other screen here. Pirates, lots of pirates now. They try to recruit me to go on boats and raid other boats. Pirates movement is big in Somalia, and it's growing very, very fast.
Wow.
Yeah, that's from Abdi.
Is that also part of the immigration cartels? These, the migration cartels, the boats that make it to Italy, and
Yeah.
is that related to that?
No, he's talking about the pirates that go out and start like taking over big ships and boats and family yachts and people just going through those areas. They do that a lot. They've been doing that for many years. They're pirates. They load up their with AK-47s and they go out on these little like boats, speed boats, and they catch up to these yachts and sailboats and you know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and then they start to hold people hostage for ransom and stuff like that. Apparently that's going up a lot. This is my friend Abdi here messaging me. He said his English is no good. He'll come on the show, but his English is no good. All right. So, I just wanted, yeah. It's beyond the
honest,
pale saying
Mike,
that's
if I
nothing
were-
new, Mike. So
What's he
people
saying?
know about this, but I don't know. He apparently, according to him, they're recruiting people from everywhere to join these crews. So, yeah, Metal Gear Mark III says they look for booty.
Yep. Yeah. So I don't know about Canada, Mike. I would be worried at this point. I don't know. It might be time. If I were there, I think I would find a way to leave. But yeah, that's what I'm wondering. Are you able to?
Yeah, that was a good.
Might
that's a good
be
question.
it might be worth finding out because it might also give you an indication of what's coming down the pipeline.
I think once they make it illegal, because what they're going to do is they're going to get these Chamber of Commerce and all these people in these little cities, they're going to get them in little towns to make sure if anybody is growing food, you get their neighbors to snitch them, you get a free bushel of apples and bananas for the month if they snitch out their neighbors if they're growing food. Oh, it's good. Or if they're collecting water. I know in some states too, in some parts of Canada, it's illegal to collect rainwater too. Yeah.
I think was it 1 in 8 people are snitching on their neighbors? Where? In California?
Yes.
I think. I'm not sure.
It's in California and Washington State.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there was snitching.
That's a pretty high number. That is not good.
Yeah. I'm concerned. We're all concerned. You know what I'm saying, Layla?
Yeah.
All right. It's been a very interesting half an hour.
Well, thanks, Mike. Yeah, I want to drop off. I'd like other people to come on the show, maybe blunt news regarding cryptos, but also what's going on in Canada, like if Raven is around, and also what's going on in the States, if you can get Lord on. Oh, and Mike, I think Ashima is on the call.
Yeah, I saw her there in the comments.
About the FANG stocks.
Yeah, it's good to find out what the heck is going on because I tried to get her on 2 weeks ago on trends in the housing market, and she was probably busy.
Yeah. Okay. Super. So let's see who comes on next.
Bye, Layla.
Thanks,
God
Mike.
bless you.
Take care. You too. Bye.
Yeah. So, Layla, always good to have her in the show. So, yeah, guys, if you're just tuning into the show, go back to the beginning. If you're just tuning in and watch from the beginning, there's a lot of good stuff happening here. Guys, share this while it's live if you don't mind, please. Okay, let's go to article scan here real quick. Guys, don't forget, if you don't mind, let's do a quick channel plug here. Quick channel plug. Okay, guys, don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Don't forget to set your reminders for next week. Mike in the Night, there it is there. Mike in the Night, the dystopian future. So if you want to be part of this next week's show, don't forget to set your reminders to that. I'd be really happy to see from you guys. Guys, the Raven's working this week. I think he's listening to us secretly, but I think he's working this weekend. I know he's working because he told me the other day. Guys, don't forget to pick up something from the Teespring store. If you guys want to support the transmission, pick up a mug, a cell phone case, a pillow. Stuff goes for $9, $6, $11. The sweaters are good quality, so they're a bit expensive. The tights are really nice. My wife's got them. They look great. They're just pricey, though. Like, the material's good. Stickers, Mike in the Night stickers, all kinds of cool stuff. Don't forget to buy something from the Teespring store. The link is right here on the on the YouTube channel. Don't forget to follow me on Facebook, even though I'm not considered a public figure with 118,000 people that follow me on Facebook. Unfortunately, I'm not a real public figure for them. And guys, if you want to send me some show tips, don't forget to add me on, please, if you can. If you can, follow me on Instagram and send me messages on Instagram. I really appreciate it. Okay, we got the Ravens in the comments say, if you can pretend a mask will help you, then you could pretend I'm wearing one. Mike Banks is in the house. We got Hollywood in the house. We got Metal Gear Mark III. Jeff Jefe Salcedo in the house. Yeah, Raven's at work. He's got to go. I know he's at work. He told me he was going to be at work. Blunt News is saying, can you just make this show adult, Mike? No, because they're just going to kick me off, right? Pickering fire, nuclear explosion, it's possible. Does everyone know that that's the UK Kent area at ports had a huge explosion? Okay, UK Kent area. Let's look this up. Ports explosion. Let's look this up and see what the heck is going on there. All right, it's not even letting me copy that. Wow. Okay, guys, there it is, guys. Don't forget to just be part of the channel, whatever way you can possible. Share a video. That helps out a lot. All right. Let's look this up real quick here. Ports explodes. What is that? What is this? News. From 2 days ago. Huge explosion. Fire rages. Industrial unit. BBC. Okay, what is this? Wow, this is pretty big. Let's go to images here. Okay, so this is over in a port here in the UK. Wow, it's... What? No, that's Beirut. Hold on a sec. Yeah, here it is. UK, right there. Holy crap. Let's see if we could find out... What the heck happened? Anyone know what happened? Is anyone in this area that could call us? Huge explosion, fire shots in the sky. People were woken to a massive explosion this morning, and fire tore cloud as neighbors took to Twitter after hearing a huge explosion also coming from the fire. And so those living or working close to the area. So it's not really a sunken ship. What is this? What's going on here? Oh, ad blocker. What the hell? So if anyone's in that area that could tell us without having to go through this crap media, let us know. Okay, let's get... I was speaking to Metal Gear Mark III today. Earlier today. I was speaking to him. And... That's... Wait. Ashima. Wait, that's from August. I don't know if she tried to message me or I wonder if she's still online. Because remember, guys, it's like almost 1 o'clock in the morning where she is. And I don't want to call someone at 1 o'clock in the morning, right? So here it is, guys. Australian tourists can't leave their country, including visiting Thailand. There's the protests there, assembly in Australia. This is the several dozen people that the news was saying. It was actually several thousand if you look at the images here. And New York AG opens grand jury investigation into killing. Okay, we're not even going to go into that because there's so much going on with that. There's so much. This is the distraction, guys. This is the distraction. So let's close this distraction here. Teachers union refuses to go back to school but attends Sharpton's 50,000 race Get Off Our Necks rally in D.C. Ooh, Alan Sharpton. Okay. What else we got here? Wow. Osama bin Laden's niece comes out for Trump in 2020, says she was accosted in a grocery store for wearing a MAGA hat. Wow. Small world, eh, folks? COVID-19 divide. So they're creating the divide now. Okay. Northern wall between U.S. and Canada could stay up longer than anyone expected. Of course, Canada wants that, right? And American family sent back to the U.S. after caught vacationing in Vancouver. Portland police, multiple arrests as city nears 100 days of protests. Like, for what? Why? All right, let's see if we could get... who do we got out there? Who's out there? Yeah, Layla saying, yes, Metal, want to see how the vaccines play out. Yeah, you know, I'm concerned about the vaccine thing. A lot of people saying, I'm not going to take it, but what if they force you to take it? Like, so it's talking about, okay, let's get, all right, we're getting a little bit of a hiccup here in the streaming. Let's get my buddy here on the show. picking up. Just spoke to him before the show. I guess he's probably got internet issues. Well, I just see him in the comments right now. What the heck? I'm trying to get Lord on the show, but it looks like he's Hollywood. All right, let's get who can we grab on the show right now? You know what? Let's see if Supremo is available. Supremo in the house. Come on, Supreme. I know your internet sucks.
President Trump.
Nope, his internet's off. Supreme Cannon is away from the phone. It says no answer, no internet connection. Wow. Raven's at work tonight, guys. Let's wish him well. And you can give us a report on how many cars are being hauled across the country. What is it? Oil, wood? He said there was a ton of wood coming across. Oh, when the price of wood goes up, you want to sell it, right? You don't want to hold it. There he is, Lord Humongous. Yo, what's up, dog?
What's up?
All right, guys, here it is. Lord Humongous from the Humongous Wasteland. Let's get him on our screen here. How are you? You're looking good, buddy.
Thanks. Been working on my preps.
Yeah, you're looking good. You're actually, you got your hair slicked back. You got your beard nice and trimmed. You got the Mike Martin style there. Except your hair is real.
That's right, buddy. No vig on that wig.
No vig on the wig. So, what's going on? You've been watching the show from the beginning.
Well, what do you want to know about?
Well, tell us how you feel, man. First, what do you think is going to happen to Australia?
I think Australia, the Aussies really need to learn their history and their law systems, and especially the banking system, because that's all being used against them by China, I believe. I mean, all this is, it always boils back to money, That's what it's all about. I think China really wants the gold that Australia has, which they have the most beautiful gold in the world,
It's not too dark. It's a good gold. It's not so dark like the gold that comes from India. Indian gold is nice, but it's kind of darker. But the Australian gold's nice and flashy.
Yeah, just like Alaskan gold or even Arizona golds, it's got a real brilliant yellow to it. I love Australian gold. I think that China really wants those resources. That's why they're going after Brazil right now too, for meat production, because they're having a lot
Pork.
of they're having their own food issues right now with their people starving. I'm trying to get the right light here. How's that? Is that better?
You look good, man. You look like you're ready to take over the wasteland.
I already rule the wasteland, Mikey. You know that.
Yeah. So, now let's shift over to Portland, Oregon. 100 days, in 100 days later, they're still doing this crap?
Yeah, I mean, those riots have been nonstop since it all started. This is all the Marxist infiltration on that side, that they play the left side of the political spectrum. And then you have all the wimps on the right just hiding at home.
But they have nothing to gain from this. That's the thing.
Well, it's all about control, Mike. At the end of the day, that's what all political systems are about. It's how they can control their slaves under their systems. That's why I tell everybody that they should get out of the system. I think holding precious metals right now financially for any system is probably the best insurance to be. It's also, it's the best savings as well. People don't know about it because they've been raised on these other electronic digital systems. If they can control the internet, they can control anything. So that's why I say, like, people with cryptocurrencies, I mean, they think they're outside the system. They're not. I mean, a government can come in and make that form of currency illegal to trade in, or they can confiscate gold like they tried to, which it wasn't a real confiscation, back in the day.
Mm-hmm.
It was an act, it wasn't law. That's what I think that's where like a lot of people are messing up, they don't understand what their rights are, their God-given rights, Those were laid out for Americans right in the Constitution, and our own law system is corrupt as hell. It's a different system. It runs off of business law, admiralty law. That's why all these cops are in these secret societies, Freemasons, whatever you want to call it. But they play both sides of the spectrum all the time, and that's how they keep the citizens off balance from knowing what the truth is.
Okay, hold on a second. We go back to what Layla. No, was it Layla? Was it her? Yeah. How evil? Like someone brought up the evilness. Like this is so evil. How could how did these people sell their people? I mean, okay, money is nice. It gets you food and stuff, and maybe 2-3 parties on a boat. But then at the end, it wears off. It all wears off.
It does, but they don't want to lose control. These plans have been in the plays, for decades by these different foundations, Rockefeller Foundation, the banking families. That's how they maintain control. They get the dumb slaves to wear masks and fight each other in the street, kill each other off. That's why I'm about a United States or us all as one, including our military. They should know better not to follow unlawful orders.
Mm-hmm.
They got to be smarter. But the problem with the military is that since basic training, they're so compartmentalized in groupthink to do as they're told, and this starts from like basic training with any military branch. They're not taught to think for themselves. These controllers don't want critical, free-thinking people. That's what they don't want.
Now,
George Carlin even said that.
Okay, let's throw this out there. Let's throw this out there. Okay, so they call in the National Guard because these riots have been going on for 100 days. We're too close to an election. Blah blah blah. National Guard gets called in. What happens? Like you're just outside of Denver there in the
National
state of
Guard.
What happens first? What's the first thing that happens when lockdown or martial law gets kicked? Or that martial law, does it lead to martial law? Does the National Guard, when it's called in, does it lead to martial law, or what happens? A couple of checkpoints?
Well, yeah. I mean, the Guard's an all-volunteer force. It's made up, even though they're part of the Army, right? But they're under control of the governor. So if the governor issues a directive, let's say because of rioting, they're there just to quell the violence and stop the violence and protection of property, I would imagine, under a martial law scenario. But they understand what are lawful and unlawful orders, or at least most of them do. And the ones that turn on Americans are going to be in a bad state, because at that point, the real people like me that can think, and I know there's not all Americans are dumb. I mean, there's a lot of smart, intelligent people out there, but they're not going to want to do that. I say if these Marxist liberals want to burn down their own cities and destroy all where they live and their property and their businesses.
Oh, no, they're not destroying where they live, buddy. They're not destroying where they live. They're destroying like car dealerships. They're destroying subway stations. They're destroying pharmacies. And then when people in rural cities have to drive 2 hours to get to a pharmacy because their local one burnt down, that's not good news.
It's not good news, Mike, but you got to understand that this is all cover from the central bankers. They know that the fiat currencies are going down. That's why they'll blame it on whatever they can. They'll blame it on COVID, a hoax made by Bill Gates so he can get richer, from these government subsidy corporations, these like Microsofts and Apples that just took a tumble. It's all built into the pie, man. That's the system that's failing. That's what people have to understand psychologically. And they will use every trick in the book to psychologically distract the masses away from what's really going on. Now, I want to go back to sound money. I think we should have never had a Federal Reserve. I think it should have never existed. It's a private central bank run by international interests.
Mm-hmm.
And I think every country needs to have its own treasury
Well,
and issue sound money.
John Fitzgerald Kennedy mentioned several times during his administration that he wanted to get some sort of silver backed, and he started a silver backed thing for a little while until they took him out in Dallas, Texas.
Exactly. There's a lot of these dark entities that have played in these circles for a very long time. It all starts with the robber barons that back in, like the Rockefellers, Rothschilds, the railroads, they own the industry, and they don't want any other people to have a competition, let's say, It's just, it all boils back down to the business cycle, and their internal greed is what's really destroying this planet and all these countries. It's sad. It's sad that they bring it to violence like this and destruction of innocent people. But the problem is we could fix these problems overnight without anybody getting hurt. All they got to do is get rid of the Federal Reserve, wipe out that debt. Every country says, okay, we're starting from scratch. And and then every country has its own independent issuance of a gold-backed fiat would even work again. Mm-hmm. That would cure a lot of these problems of inequality, unaffordability. Just like, the housing market, it's all tied into the pie, man. It's all baked into the cake, and people don't realize this. They get stolen their wealth through taxation on a daily basis, through higher cost, inflation. And these are all products of having unsound money, which is fiat currency, basically.
Well, the rich get poorer if they keep defacing their own currency. So the rich, what are the rich doing, right? A lot of them are throwing their money into real estate. A lot of them are throwing their money into other assets. So but the problem is you're going to have to get the funny money to buy back the assets. So regardless of
that's what tells you what it's worth to begin with. If it's
right.
Funny money, if it's printed from nothing, if like Jerome Powell can sit there, we're going to have a $3 trillion stimulus package. Oh, really? So where is that $3 trillion coming from? They're not Federal Reserve notes. That's not real money. Where's the silver? Is it coming
from heaven?
Yeah. No, the money's there. The money's there. These countries need to take back their banking power.
Yeah.
Even like a country like Australia could come out of debt overnight and kick all the Chinese invaders out if they wanted to. Mm-hmm. Open up their gold mine. Mint for the Australian local people, and the national currency, and create a strong national currency. That would right there would eliminate a lot of Australia's problems.
Yeah. Well, Australia's problems, basically, again, they were bought out just like Canada. Like, remember, Lord, what we see in Canada, what's happening in Canada with the cost of living, and it's the same thing in Australia. Like, Australians have really nowhere to run like Canadians do. Very limited amount of cities, very limited amount of space to live. Either it's too cold or it's the outback, it's rough. So we're running out of space, right? And that's why that's why Canada wants to close its borders, because I spoke to someone like a day or two ago, or today, I think it was, where they told me, you know what, Mike, you're better off being homeless in a warmer climate.
That's true. But Mike, it's all connected. Just like, that's why they want to maintain the Federal Reserve status on the currency, because every other country's currency is tied to that Federal Reserve BS paper that's pretty much worthless. Mm-hmm. It's already lost 99% of its purchasing power since the inception of the Federal Reserve. That's where the real problem's at. And we have a worthless Congress. They just let the criminality continue because they don't do anything, and it doesn't matter which party. All these politicians are just criminals, and they're part of the problem, Mm-hmm. That's the truth.
Yeah, and nothing but the truth.
If they want to do harm for me for telling people of the world the truth, I don't give a shit, man. I stand for freedom and having people have their own individual rights. That's what this whole country was supposed to be founded on. And when you can't do that because these systems they put in place, law systems, it's just all tyranny against the little guy, and they're just going to crush him into oblivion. That's 99% of us out there, Mm-hmm. That's 99% of us. Yeah. They don't care, Mike. That's what I'm trying to tell you. That whole system's a joke. all the big tech. It's all part of it, man. It's all one big worldwide web of shit.
Mm-hmm. Diarrhea.
It needs to, yeah, it needs to collapse. People keep enabling it because we keep using it.
Or we keep
using-
how do you say, the people still have confidence in it?
Yeah. Well, there's no confidence here, believe me. People might say there is, but there's not. You know, people need to stop using it is the problem. Go back to sound coinage. You know, why is the Federal Reserve pulling this bogus hoax of there's a coin shortage? You know, it's all about banking control, man. That's they don't want to give up that power. And that's
Right.
how sick these people. You know what I'm saying? Like a lot of these problems would be corrected. You know, most people have a lot in common, more than they think they do.
Right.
But when they join a political ideology that they've been brainwashed into, they think that, you know, the opposing team is their enemy, when in reality, Democrats or Republicans, they should all be friends with each other or cordial, not fighting each other in the streets over some, you know, politician's lie.
Right.
You know, that's all that has ever got America into every single war that we've been in.
Mm-hmm.
And they use us because we're the strongest military on the planet. You know, if China thinks they're going to take over the U.S. militarily, they're stupid.
No, they're going to do
You
it. They're going to do it economically, like they did Canada and Australia and New Zealand.
Yeah, and through subversion, man, through getting, you know, it's like there was a his name's Yevgeny, I forget, Bremnov or something. He was a KGB agent during the Cold War,
Mm-hmm.
and he was sent here to America. He's a really good insight on, you know, Cold War tactics and espionage and infiltrating the American mind. And they've been doing that through the communist boob tube for the last, I don't know, 70 years, since the end of World War II. You know, they think they have some kind of insight into how to take over this country, but I'm trying to tell them that there's 300 million armed Americans out here, and even our own military would be decimated, you know, by the people of this country if it came to that. So they have to tread really thinly, you know, where they're at.
Economic
strategically.
takeovers, buddy.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
the future.
Exactly.
We're in an information
Well,
age.
But what I'm pissed about is that this whole COVID thing, it was designed to kill the small independent business owner and prop up these big stupid corporations like
They don't pay
you know,
taxes in the first place.
Apple, Microsoft. What do these big tech companies really provide you in terms of value on a daily basis, other than communication? Nothing. What makes Apple have a $2 trillion so-called dollar
A bigger
market cap?
bigger GDP than Australia.
Yeah, exactly. Right. See, these are the games these idiots are playing. So if you really want the real culprits,
Mhm.
corporates, right? Go to the heads of these CEOs. Go to these corporations. Go to Google. They know what's going on. They're not stupid. That was started by, you know, 2 Russian dudes, right? But are these Russian guys there to betterment America and American communications? No. They were there for the money. They were there for the funny money. You know.
Okay.
So.
All
yeah,
right, Lord.
yeah.
I appreciate your weighing in on the show and giving us an update. And
But I won't. I'm going to let everybody know this right now. I'm not taking any fucking vaccine. Excuse my French.
yeah,
Okay, they can shove that where Bill Gates don't shine, and that turtle, you know what he is,
Mhm.
knows exactly what he's doing, because it's been in the plans. You know, he had that event 203, you know, that was talking. Who was it that called him with the fake bogus numbers? Was that Liam?
yeah,
Yeah, I mean, Bill Gates had a show, Event 203, on some channel, I forget. But he laid it out. He laid it out what was coming in 2017. I mean, how stupid are these people, really?
Mhm.
These idiots they're wearing these masks and following these mandates that are not even law.
right.
You know, they don't know their rights. You know, start learning the law, man. Learn the law of your country. Learn the government. Learn how corrupt they are, and then do whatever you got to do to counter whatever BS they spew, because it's not for your benefit.
Exactly.
You know, and it doesn't matter where you live. It doesn't matter if you're in China, UK, here in America. It doesn't matter. They don't care. They only care about one thing, and that's that stupid dollar symbol.
That's right.
Which is bogus too. Yeah.
Okay, Lord.
All right, brother.
Thank you for saying your
God bless.
piece. God bless you.
Yeah.
And we'll
All
talk
right,
soon.
You too, buddy. Yep.
Bye.
All righty. Bye.
All right, guys, that is Lord Humongous giving us an insight on what's going on in his neck of the woods, and just outside of Denver, Colorado. And all right. Okay, guys, we're in our second hour now. We want to get first. I want to get Blunt News wants to get on the show now. He's on. I think he's on Barbara Streisand's boat. So let's see what he's on Barbara Streisand's boat. So let's see if he picks up.
Holy shit. Yo, Mike.
Yo, don't swear.
Is shit a swear word?
I don't know. This is YouTube. YouTube's becoming more and more. Doesn't matter. How you doing? You doing okay? I heard you're on Barbara Streisand's boat.
Barbara Streisand's boat? No, man. This is my boat.
Oh, you're on your boat. Where are you going?
Where am I going? I rounded the shit, Mike. Hey, buddy, I have to tell you, I'm fucking drunk.
Whoa, dude, you can't swear, dude. You're gonna get shut down.
Okay, I'll do my best. I rounded the island that I'm camping at, and holy crap. So the people that I'm camping with won't be disturbed. You know what I mean?
Oh, so yeah.
Yo, can you see me right now?
No.
Okay, wait a minute. I got lights on this boat, you know?
You do? You got lights on your boat?
How about now?
No, your camera's off.
My camera's off. How do I want to give the people a visual, you know what I mean?
Oh, there you are. I can see you now.
All right. Hey, people of the internet, people of the night. This is Mike in the Night, and we're here to discuss some pressing subjects.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, so what's going on? Tell us without swearing.
Mike, it's lost, man. The most of the people are sleeping, brother.
Mm-hmm.
Most of the people are indoctrinated. Most of the people don't give a damn about their future. They act as if they do. They go about life as if they care about the future. But in reality, they just want to keep up with the Joneses. They want to do what they think the majority of people accept as normal. They don't want to be seen as an outcast, despite what their inner being is telling them. You know what I mean?
People are losing their soulless. Everyone's selling themselves to the almighty dollar, like Lord Humongous says. But to me, the dollar wears off. It all wears off, dude.
The dollar?
I'm not talking about the dollar itself, but the good times or whatever you think you could make with that dollar, it wears off.
Mike, life is like a box of chocolates. I don't know. Hey, listen, buddy. I'm finding out that most people don't give a damn about the truth. Most people don't. They rather discredit the truth and talk bad about people who speak the truth than to realize the truth. You know what I mean?
That's very true. That's very true.
So we have a situation here on our hands where people are being asked to muzzle themselves, put masks on their face, pretend that there's some kind of evil, scary virus about, and go about life as if, this is all normal. This is not normal, my friend.
Of course,
This is not the way that human beings should be living. Okay. I have insider information from the Ontario School Board that
Okay.
I will reveal right now for the interweb.
Mhm.
Okay. They are installing cameras in classrooms. Okay, Mike?
Oh, okay.
And you want your children and being watched 24, or not 24 hours a day, but you know what I mean, however many hours they are in school, because my son isn't going to school, so I'm not worried about that. But Mike, I know you have children. Are you sending your children to these indoctrination camps?
Well, I'm in a small town, so we're still small town mentality here. That's the thing. We very are. As much as a lot of people, like, we still have that very small town, like, everyone owns guns here mentality. Like,
I'll tell you something about guns, Mike.
Well,
when I worked out in the oil sands in Fort McMurray, Alberta, guns were a way of life.
Mhm.
Dropping bears in your backyard was a way of life. Okay. I come to Ontario, back to my birthplace, and I talk to my friends that I grew up with, and I say, "Hey, man, you got your gun license?" I enticed them to get their gun license because I got my gun license while I was working out in the oil sands, and I told them to get their gun license. So finally, I moved back home. My son was about 2 years old. I felt it was a proper time to move back home to be with the family, right? I'm walking with my friend. We're going to Sale. I heard Sale's closing down, but that's another subject. I'm going to Sale with my friend to look at some firearms, and we're talking firearms, and he's all, whoa, shh. He's getting all scared talking about firearms.
Oh, he was panicking.
Buddy, why? You're licensed. I'm licensed.
Mm-hmm.
You're scared to talk about firearms? Well, these people, man, they're all afraid. They're all afraid of everything. They're afraid to talk the truth. They're afraid to talk about things they're allowed to do.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, Mike? We're in a situation here where people are afraid to even be human. Okay? So we're all alone in this situation, Mike.
We can't see you anymore.
You can't.
There you go.
How about now?
Good. Are you pilot? Are you sailing your boat? Where are you, in the Caribbean?
I'm in the 30,000 islands of Georgian Bay. There's no human to be found. And it's very easy to get lost, but I'm very, very experienced in these areas, and let's just leave it at that.
Okay.
Anyways, Mike, let it be known for the viewers, this isn't my usual self. I've been.
Well, dude, you're on a boat. You're camping. Dropped a couple of J's. Smoked a few J's. Have a little bit of beer.
You know how it goes. You know how it goes, my friend.
Dude, I'm Portuguese too.
Yeah. So, anyways, we're out here camping on the 30,000 islands. There's no humans to be found. Woo! And I'm in the middle of the wilderness. You know, a bear could walk up on me. I've seen herrings today. I've seen the loons today. I caught 2 northern pikes today. This is the life of the northern Canadian. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Well, that's good.
So, where were we? Anyhow, I polished half a bottle of Jack's Jack Daniels, so I'm not paying attention here.
All right, dude. Look, we've been talking for a while now. I gotta let you go because I want to get what's his face on. I want to get Supreme Cannon on, and I want to.
Come on, Mike. Come on, Mike.
But what do you want to say?
I
Finish
had to
off.
wait to get this boat out in the water just to speak to you. Come
Go
on,
ahead,
let's
talk.
talk about
What is
something
it?
real here.
I know you have to be in very excluded areas so no one could track you.
Oh, I'm fine, man.
I'm joking,
fine. There's
dude.
no
I'm
human.
joking.
There's no human here for miles, man. There's no human here for miles. So, what do you want to talk about, Mike?
Well, what would you do, or how would you feel if they start bringing in the Australian law into Canada? Like what's happening there?
Hey, Mike, I'm prepared. I'm a good old Canadian boy. You know, I was born and raised in Canada. Yeah, I'm Portuguese descent, but I was born here. I got my gun license. I got my guns. I got my fishing license. I'm well trained in all aspects of survival. So at the end of the day, you know, all these sheep out there, they're just gonna starve, man. And if they're not gonna starve, they're gonna get damaged by this vaccine. For example, tonight I tried to introduce the Mike Martins show to a few camping buddies, right?
Mm-hmm.
Man, I probably sound like an idiot because I'm drunk as AF, right? But I tried to introduce your show to a bunch of buddies, and right off the bat, that Joe Biden clip must be fake. That Joe Biden must be fake. You know what I did? I closed the Mike Martins live stream. I went right to C-SPAN and I showed them.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I showed them. And guess what happened after that? Shit got silence. Shit got quiet, and everybody went to bed. Right?
Well,
and
they
that's
can't
when I
handle
started
that.
putting in the pardon me?
A lot of people can't handle the truth, right? When they see something like
I don't
that,
care, Mike. I don't care, Mike. Okay? You can't handle the truth? You can't handle the truth, then you're not worthy
That's right.
of life.
Yeah.
Okay? This is the real deal here. Okay? This is the truth. If you want everlasting life, you must speak the truth.
Right.
Oh man, this is gonna be hilarious tomorrow when I'm sober and I look at this.
Hello, everyone.
But anyhow, you want
When was the last time anybody saw
Mike
us beating, let's
people-
say, China?
they want to ignore stuff because it's convenient? Nah, man. No, why are you gonna ignore the truth?
Mhm.
Okay? Why are you gonna ignore your government is enslaving you?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
They're coming up with these regulations as they go.
The Mexican
It makes
government.
no sense.
Well, here's the deal, Blunt. Hold on. Hear me out. That's why we want as little as government as possible, right? You don't want the government to get too big. And that's usually what happens. And the cycle repeats itself. And then there's some sort of a breakdown. And then it restarts. And then we start with the small government and they become bigger. And then that's what happens. The cycle repeats itself, right? We've seen it happen countless times in Central America, South America. We've seen it happen in Eastern Europe. We've seen it in Portugal in 1912 when they banned all the churches and they banned religion and they banned everybody from everything. You know what I'm saying, right? So it happens in cycles, right? And the government gets too big for their boots, and then that's what happens. And that's what we're going through right now.
The United States of America.
You know, government is like a cancer.
Exactly. But we don't want the government to get big. Do you want to be governed on what music to listen to? Do you want to be governed on what you should smoke, what you should drink? Do you want to be governed on where you're allowed to go, when you're allowed to go? You don't want to be governed on that stuff. You know what I'm saying? And
First
that's
of all,
why the government needs to pipe down, let the people, let the middle class, let the people who actually build and support the infrastructure make the decisions.
Listen, Mike. Human beings, they all want the same thing. Okay, we want to have security for our families, right? And that comes with the ability to secure your freedom. That comes with the ability to own and purchase firearms and ammunitions, right? We want the ability to feed our families. So that has to come with the ability to purchase and own private property.
Well, they're putting us in a position, hold on, they're putting us in a position right now where we can't even be productive because all the jobs are shut down. We can't even be productive citizens anymore.
Citizens of what?
Well, you know what I mean. We can't even be productive if we want to be productive, and they're stopping us from gaining gainful employment.
You know,
You're not a nice
this
person.
COVID-19 thing, they want to tell us what is essential and what. I can't even grab my steering wheel here. They want to tell us what's essential and what's not essential. Meanwhile, you have lawn maintenance guys cutting grass. That's essential because the rich people need their grass cut, Mike.
Woo!
Yeah, you know what I mean? And you got the hairdressers having to shut down. You got your wife who's a hairstylist who has to stop making an income because the government told her that it's not essential. But I tell you what, Mike, food on the table is essential for every human being.
That's right.
Okay? No matter how they go about getting that done, it's essential. Okay? So government is getting to a point where it's
getting too big.
It's making our lives worse.
Mexico.
Okay? And this is going to be quite interesting because you guys know that I usually don't speak like this. But hey, it's the Mike Martin's Mike in the Night, you know? You got to let loose a little bit, you know?
Yeah, Anthony Ruvalacaba says Blunt is passionate about his essentials.
Hey, it's all about essentials. It's all about essentials. You got to have your food, you got to have your shelter, and you got to have your education. And those things come from your family, right? You think, okay, but what do you mean food comes from your family? The knowledge passed down from generation to generation, how to plant, how to harvest a good crop. This is stuff that everybody has in their ancestry. Okay, so why has modern society all of a sudden kind of shunned this stuff to the side?
It's because they're accepting it. Well, they're accepting it.
No.
Docile.
They've been engineered to accept it, but it shouldn't be accepted, Mike.
Yeah,
it should not be accepted. Here I am out in the sticks, out in the boonies.
How big is your boat?
In the middle of nowhere where nobody is. I caught 2 northern pike today. That'll feed a few people, Mike.
How big is your boat?
This boat is about 16 feet long. It's an old 1970s boat. You know, I bought this when I was a teenager for $600 with this 15 horsepower Johnson included. You know. But I did buy this electric motor that I'm cruising around on right now while I'm talking to you, you know, keep it quiet. But, you know, a human being has to be responsible for... Oh, shoot, the light went out. How's that?
There you go.
Is that better?
Yeah.
I actually bought this light specific for the Mike Martin show, you know?
Woo!
Woo! Woo! You guys hear that echo? There's nobody around, man. Nothing but stars and the moon, water, fish, bears, raccoons, and a guy making a fool of himself while he's drunk, you know what I mean?
Okay, Blunt, I'm going to let you go, buddy, because we're talking for 25 minutes now, and I want to get a few more people on the show before I wrap up the show.
Yeah, man. Before I go, let me let the viewers know, let everybody know, Lord and Raven and Layla and the regulars and Steve and hey, man, I do this once a year. You know, I drink my alcohol once a year. I go out Labor Day weekend and I enjoy myself. You know, I put myself in a situation where I'm away from the sheep. I'm away from the civilization. And I'm just enjoying myself. So
no, dude,
don't
worry, man. Have a good time. Have a good time. Enjoy yourself. Life's short. You know, we're going to be gone in like 20, 30 years. So just have fun.
That's what I mean. Hey, my mission in life is to teach my son to think for himself.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, this is such a cool spot right here. I'm in between a couple islands here and a channel. And there's no humans for hundreds of miles. I'm not going to say hundreds of miles, but there's no humans for miles. And there's pike, and there's bass, and there's walleye, and this is real life, Mike.
Mm-hmm.
It's not Kim Kardashian and Kanye West and this bullshit that they keep pushing on in the media.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, this is real life. A man trying to make a wholesome life for his son and teach him what matters in this life. You know?
Okay. All right, bud. Stay strong. Get back to shore. Don't get lost.
I must be over the top. Yeah, okay, Mike. Yeah. Peace, for sure.
God bless you. We'll have you on next week so we can do a follow-up on tonight.
Yeah, for sure, buddy. Have a good show, man. It's been good.
Ciao, ciao. So that is Blunt. He is on a boat. I got pictures of his boat. Here it is right here. He sent me these photos of his boat. There's his boat right there. Look, it looks pretty. I don't know much about a couple of boats. He's got 3 boats, actually. And they are watching Mike in the Night there in where he's at there. So there it is there, guys. He is out and about, but he wanted to make sure he got his voice heard tonight, and that's what this show is about. That's what we're here for, you know what I'm saying? We are here to, you know, he's pretty upset. He's upset of where the way things are headed, and I don't blame him. He wants to go out once a year, have a good time, have a few drinks, you know, just be himself for once, and you know what I mean, guys? You know what I mean, right? So we got boats are a liability. Okay, so everybody is in the comments here.
President Trump.
All right, let's get Supremo Cannon on to wind this show down.
Hey.
I've been trying to reach you. A lot tougher to get than the president.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah.
It's okay. It's okay. I just felt like using that line.
Yeah. I like that line. I might use that myself.
Yeah. So how are things, Supreme? Things going okay on your end?
They're plugging along. Yeah, we're busy.
Yeah, okay.
No complaints at all. Yeah. Anyway, go
ahead. No, I just wanted to throw something out there because this is part of your personal life. Wood. What's the deal with wood? The price of wood skyrocketing. Can you kind of give us a little bit? You know the lumber mill. You know the whole thing. What's going on with wood, dude?
Well, you would think with what was going on over the last few months that it would be down like everything else, but it seems that while all these people were at home, of course, they've always got a honey-do list. So I think the Lowe's and the home hardwares and stores like that had a lot of people that were in getting lumber for, to home improvement and, finally putting a wood shed out back and stuff like that. And there just seems like there was a lot of people, they had nothing else to do, so they were working on their places. Right. And it's not like you.
Okay, the Raven said the same thing, building staircases, blah, blah, blah. Yeah. But it's gotten to a point where it's so expensive that people have to import lumber, Canadian lumber from America.
Yeah, well, it depends on how far it got, right? I mean, if you produce lumber in a mill in northern BC or Alberta, by the time it goes to reload and heads some south on CN and it goes through Burlington Northern and it goes into Phoenix or somewhere like that. I mean, it could be months from the time it was produced until it gets to the final collection point, right? Like there's just a logistical train, and if it runs out somewhere back upstream, well then they gotta throw everything into reverse and start shipping it north again. Yeah, it's lumber at 800 plus Canadian is unprecedented. I've never seen it. I don't think it'll last. I doubt it will last. A couple of years ago, it had spiked to just over 600, and then in the space of a couple 3 weeks, it had dropped to half that. I expect something similar to happen. We're busy. All the mills are going flat out right now, just making up for that drawdown in inventory. So. Yeah, I don't think it'll last. I wouldn't have expected it to get the levels it was, but
well, same thing with housing. We didn't expect a tear down shack, a 2-bedroom, 1,200 square foot, go for $2.4 million, and it did.
Well, yeah. What would be the price of lumber for a place like 50-year-old lumber is worth $830 a thousand? I mean, that's what it would have to be to justify paying $2.5 million for a tear down shack, right? Yeah, it doesn't make any sense, but that's part of capitalism and a free market too. Like some things that just shouldn't be worth anything are suddenly, like pet rocks, man. Beanie Babies. Like, why on earth would someone pay for that? The inflation might be part of the money printing, Lord. Yeah, it's going to show up in all kinds of things. I mean, the reason asset prices have been as high as they are, like housing and cars and stuff like that, is because of cheap money. Obviously, it's been creating a lot of problems there too. But this short-term spike, I don't think it's money printing. I think it is actual market forces. Because remember, a lot of this money printing going on, or buying of mortgage bonds and stuff like that, is to prevent deflation. Right. Pump a bunch of money out the door. So if we do have a housing crash or a banking cascading collapse or something, that the money that is expected to disappear, it doesn't disappear. Like it's replaced immediately, so that you don't have a crash, right?
Well, I got something on the press here.
My head.
I got something on the press, and this looks pretty. This is pretty fresh. It looks like somebody in the comments mentioned here, so we're gonna bring it up. It's from Vlad P. PFC Vlad. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. PFC is saying something's happening between Greece and Turkey, and there's definitely something happening between Greece and Turkey right now. And it looks like there might be some sort of an invasion of Turkey. Turkey and Greece conflict in Eastern Mediterranean is less about gas. And then a row between Turkey and Greece over gas is raising tension in the Eastern Mediterranean. Turkey plows ahead in Mediterranean expansion. Your next Greek holiday could be in Turkey if the autocrat carries out the invasion threat. So there's a lot happening that this COVID thing is doing a great job covering up, eh?
Yeah, well, there's a lot of things. Yeah, I think, there's a lot of people that are using, obviously, the economic impact of COVID-19 to
fulfill their agendas,
to fill their agendas, keep people stirred up, and it creates a cover to do these things. Greece and Turkey, they're both part of NATO, but they've been pretty much mortal enemies going back to the 1100s. So it's not it's nothing new. They're not buddies. They'll never be buddies.
Well, since biblical times, right?
Well, it's I mean, where Anatolia, where Turkey is, it was the heartland of the Byzantine Empire.
That's right.
Which was Greek-speaking, Orthodox Christians, until there was a screw up on the Byzantine side, and the invading the Seljuk Turks defeated them at the Battle of Manzikert in like 1180 or something like that, and they overran Anatolia. So Turkey today is territory that they took from. It wasn't Greece per se; it was the Byzantine Empire. Okay, that's a different thing. But it was a slaughter. It was a massive depopulation, and of course, eventually they took Constantinople, which is now modern-day Istanbul. That was 1453, give or take. Okay, so yeah, they're not. And then Greece was occupied by the Ottoman Empire for a long time too, until the early 1800s, and then they regained their independence. So they're not. They're not buddies. I mean, I'm sure they've had good times and bad times, but yeah, they're not buddies.
So okay,
So yeah, I'm not surprised there'd be tensions.
Okay, so let's roll over back to Christ, what was that? Australia's Victoria shutdown. I don't know if you caught that at the beginning of the show. People are being arrested for posting stuff. A pregnant woman was arrested for posting something organization on Facebook to organize a protest, which should be in everyone's civil right to every human's God. Okay, let's rephrase that. Never mind the government's right, what you're allowed. I think it should be every human being's birthright to have a voice and freedom of assembly. Now, people are being arrested for organizing things, and well, the protest goes out, no one gets COVID, and then what happens? So, do you think this is going to come to Canada? That's what a lot of people watching this now have been watching us for a while, seeing what's happening in Australia. Do you see these provincial shutdowns? Do you see checkpoints? Do you see them rolling out? Because I know Canada and our great leader, JT, I know you love him very much, will want to be the first on the soapbox to show the rest of the world that he could do it too.
If they're going to do it anywhere, it's going to be in urban areas where most of the people are. Like half of the population of Australia lives in that southwestern corner, like Melbourne and those areas, which if I recall, is where that particular incident happened, where that pregnant lady was taken into custody. I mean, these things are caught on camera, but I don't know if this is happening in every single instance. I mean, you have jerk cops too. You have people that decide that they're going to take matters into their hands and overreact, right, to certain situations. We don't have complete context of the altercation that happened there. It's very strange that cops would forcibly swarm somebody and take them into custody unless somebody in the department decided that it might be good to make an example of someone. I mean, they have these they have these regulations they have to enforce, and if people aren't obeying them, well, then they have to make an example of them. Like I've used the example before when we were talking about social credit a few months ago. Okay, yeah. Systems. Giuliani in New York, right? If someone didn't curb their dog or they spit gum on the sidewalk, well, they get a ticket for like $50. Like, which sounds completely over the top, but the point was the city had been so filthy and neglected. The point was to make the penalties harsh enough that proper habits would be formed and bad habits would be broken. And obviously, once a few people got $50 tickets, then they complied. Some of their information I don't think it's necessarily anything to do with oppression. They've just got instructions in their particular health ministry that people have to comply with what we're doing to stop this virus from spreading. And whether the virus is really that virulent or that dangerous for most people or not is irrelevant. They've got instructions and they're going to carry them out. Mm-hmm. So yeah, I'm not pleased to see things like that. I'm not impressed at all. And you've got someone in the comments, Matthew Elil, I believe. Are you still there?
Yeah, I'm listening. Right. I'm listening to you.
Okay, I had the spinning wheel on my screen for a second, so I might drop out for a second here and there. I'm not sure. Mm-hmm. You said some of them are like they're in fear of their lives. I don't know exactly why. Obviously it would be good for them to call in or email you or something and fill them in on why exactly it's a threat. I mean, I would take something like that very seriously, obviously.
Well, we got Matthew in the comments saying pregnant lady loses one of her unborn twins because one of her unborn twins because she couldn't cross the border to get to the hospital, but some CEO can fly interstate with his family. People are pissed.
Well, I would imagine. Yeah, that's ridiculous. What do you mean you can't cross the border? You've got a medical emergency. That's ridiculous. That in a case like that, I think that's bureaucratic overreach. Somebody didn't want to make a career-limiting move by making an exception on the spot, and by the time it went up the chain to try to find some help, because I can't imagine no one tried to help. That's the problem with bureaucracy, right? Like it's a certain point in time where you're just an order follower and a rule follower, and you can't, like you're not going to stick your neck out.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Like it's an attraction for all kinds of mediocre people too. There are good ones, of course, everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
It's not like every civil servant is an absolute clown or good Lord, nothing would work properly. Well, just about everything does work.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Like most of us have clean water, the lights are on, there's food in the stores, your bank machine, your card works. It's not that, 99% of normal life is going on normally.
Right.
So it's not that everyone's dumb. At least the systems are fairly robust in that regard. But yeah, you've got people that they're just rule followers. And of course, you've got a lot of self-appointed deputies now. They're out in the street yelling at people for not wearing masks because they've got nothing better to do with their time, and they never did. Look how easy it was for East Germany to get Stasi informants.
Mm-hmm.
Like one in 4 people in the country was some kind of government informer. Like, good Lord. You had to watch just every moment of the day.
My fear right now, Supreme, is that our governments are getting way too big.
Well, that's been true for a long time, though, Mike. Okay, obviously some places are much worse than others, right? Like not every province in Canada is horribly in debt, and not every state in the U.S. is run like a banana republic. Some of them have balanced books. Yes, government has got too big, but government, it becomes kind of a self-pruning thing. Sooner or later, they can't finance those deficits anymore, and then people get laid off. And at that point in time, they start bracing for the inevitable backlashes, especially among public sector unions, because if you've seen in France, those people can shut down the entire country. Mm-hmm. And they're not going to take any kind of cut when it's obvious that sooner or later, the French government isn't going to be able to pay them anymore.
Right.
And it's all run by politicians who, in the end, don't get elected from telling the truth because most people are dumb. Right?
Well, it usually happens in a time like this.
Derogatory. They don't know. They don't think about things like that.
Well, here it is. Usually when all else fails, what do governments do when they're in high recession, high depression, inflation, all kinds of crap? What do governments do? They usually turn to war.
Yeah, that's right. They get some kind of emergency. Really, when you get down to it, why is this always this global climate thing and now this global virus and all of these things? The idea is, you've got to create some pretext to nationalize more of the economy.
Right.
And control the means of production and the means of consumption too, right? The price of credit and money and because they just think, well, if we just had complete control of everything, well, then we can make it work right. It's not all some guy sitting around a table smoking cigars and sipping brandy in Switzerland somewhere, mm-hmm. right? In a castle. Like a lot of it is just lower level people with a little bit of authority that want more authority because they think they know how to make the world run better. Like the old cliche, most of the people who know how to solve the world's problems drive taxis and cut hair. You ever hear that?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and it's kind of the same thing. You've got people in upper, not even upper, but mid echelon in the corporate and government world who just want to build their own little empire, and they want a little more power, a little more authority. It doesn't mean they can handle it; they just want it.
Mm-hmm.
So you've got to add all that into the picture too. The world is a chaotic place.
It definitely
Nobody has complete control of it. It's not possible. The idea is that chaos is this wave, and if you're going to make order out of that chaos, well, you're going to stir up the chaos, and then you're going to surf the wave to land where you want. Well, I don't think that it always works out the way they want. That's probably my Mike Banks. I'm not on a boat. I wish I was on a boat. Be chugging a little JD with Blunt News right now would be pretty good.
Chugging some JD with Blunt News. I'd like to do that too right now. I like whiskey.
Yeah,
I like
right.
a good whiskey cola, some whiskey and Coke, and some nice cold
Absolutely.
ice.
Yeah. Captain and Coke, you bet. That would be pretty nice right about now. That wouldn't sting a bit. Yeah, it's complicated. Where Australia is concerned, obviously you've got people that live there, and they can get some on the ground information to you. It would be very difficult for them to crack down a whole lot more than they have, and I have a feeling these camera phone videos that we've seen are the extreme cases. I don't know if it's like this way for everybody.
Right.
Like for most places, it's just a matter of, okay, well, you go to work if you've got work to go to, and you go home. You go to the store, you get your stuff.
Nobody's panicking.
Most people's lives at this point are obviously they're not panicking. They're inconvenienced, obviously, but they're not freaking out about it. The only ones that really are would be the social butterflies, the people who travel all the time, and obviously the hundreds of thousands of people that were working in, the airlines and the cruise ship industry and the resort industry, things like that. Obviously, it's been a massive disruption for them. Good Lord. So it's not this idea that it's not that painful. But a lot of those industries were going to go the way of the dodo bird anyway during the next credit meltdown. Right? It doesn't mean that we won't have those things anymore, but the blithe ease with which people who really don't make that much money can go travel wherever they want, whenever they want.
Right.
It wasn't going to last. Right? Like, it's just pretty goofy when you think about it. So yeah, it was. I mean, things are going to reset, and they're gonna shake out into. It'll resume stability at some lower point, and then the fight to begin to grow again will begin. People want to prosper, and they want to work and make a profit, and they want things to work for them. And if things crash, as they inevitably do, the house of cards comes down, well, then they'll just start building it again immediately, the day after.
I have
right? That's what's going to happen. Oh, yes.
I got somebody's actually messaging me here from Russia in English, and he has a question for you. He says, Supreme, doesn't this current American election campaign mirror some sort of CIA-style psyops the U.S. used abroad, seeking a regime change?
Yes, I'd go with that. Absolutely. Yeah, what you've seen for the last 4 years is an attempt at a regime change in the United States. I don't think there's any doubt about it. I mean, just look at it. Look at the media. Look at the opposition parties. Look at a lot of the governments in the world. Right? That just simply, tried to, it's like this immune system that was trying to excise the Trump administration from Washington. Like, oh, we got to get rid of this tumor, I mean, it's just relentless, nonstop negative coverage and demonization of his supporters from a year before the election. So yeah, it's a CIA style attempt at regime change. But the Trump group, I mean, I don't call it Trump. I call it the Trump group because it's a group. He's not doing this alone. I don't think he ever was. They know fully well what these people are capable of. And I think they've got countermeasures for all of it. And it's not a matter of, trust the plan. Okay. I know there's some people on there that follow that too. And I keep an eye on it just because it's definitely a phenomenon. Okay. This the QAnon thing, all right, but we're witnessing that there, and just as importantly, it's not just regime change, but it's also the prevention of regimes like Trump, for example, or Bolsonaro in Brazil, okay, or Salvini. He was briefly leader of Italy, and then he got booted out, and it looks like he's coming back again. It's to prevent people like that from even having a platform, let alone forming a less or anti-globalist, nationalist kind of regime. Okay, the loss of the White House was a disaster for these people. So they absolutely are trying to stage a regime change of some kind. I don't think it's going to succeed. They're already preparing the narrative for November 4th. What they're going to say is if Trump wins, well, he stole the election. And if Trump loses, well, he's not going to accept defeat, right? Like they're basically hardening their own base of support to prepare for violence in either case. And I don't believe that the Trump administration doesn't know that. No, Tig, the U.S. will not become a communist country. The U.S. would split up into like 5 or 6 countries if someone tried to make that happen.
For sure.
It
a lot of
won't
states
happen.
will secede, and Texas will be a Lone Star and kick out all the Californians, and things will change. But hold up here.
Sure.
I had something I wanted to tell you, but I totally blanked out. It was actually a pretty good one. Totally blanked out. So now, let's jump over quickly to that whole issue that we're having in Portland. 100+ days. I mean, there's no military conquest here. There's no military virtue. They're not going to wreak the land they're sowing. They're just destroying private property, dealerships, subway stations. They're just destroying everything. Back in the day when things like this happened, they would conquest and take parts of countries and create new borders. They're not even doing that. It's 100 days. What's the... Yeah.
Yeah. Yes, destruction for its own sake, right? It's an attempt to create. If you saw, for example, the Democrat National Convention, right, which happened before the Republican one, all right. You had what's his face? I don't know, some late pop star. He did an old Buffalo Springfield song, For What It's Worth, right? Stop children, what's that sound? Everybody, look what's going down.
Yeah.
Right. Remember what I said, like 1968 and Tet Offensive and all that stuff, right? It's like that. They're attempting to resurrect that zeitgeist, and it's for the same reason. It's to revolution, overthrow, stick it to the man, that kind of thing. Trying to gin up that zeitgeist. It's either they win the election, or if they don't win the election, then the next step is mass, like BLM times 100 on the 4th of November, and probably.
And don't forget about the asteroid.
I would not be. The asteroid, of course, the asteroid is supposed to hit on November 3rd at all.
4th of November.
That's right. Yeah. Why bother going to vote when there's an asteroid going to destroy the Earth, right?
Well, it's not heading towards Earth. It's going to be one of the closest asteroids to come close to Earth, we've had in a long time.
This is and of course, the ice caps will melt all at once and flood everything on the 5th
Florida's
of November,
underwater
no doubt
right now,
about it,
right?
Yeah. Now, when you see people saying things that outrageous and stupid, okay, does that sound like people who are calm, cool, and under control?
No,
I think that they've actually got a problem. They got a problem on their hands.
They might have a Bigfoot issue too.
Yes, they probably have a Bigfoot issue. Well, they're holding on to that that's the October surprise, Mike.
Yeah.
Bigfoot is going to be revealed, and he's going to talk about how Trump paid him to pee on a hotel bed in Moscow or something, right? Yeah, Bigfoot is going to be a real big scandal in October. Yeah, they've got this. Biden's got this.
YouTube sent me this thing where like popular topics you could talk about on your channel. And like I was looking over the topics, I was laughing. I was like, Bigfoot, alien, first contact, all this other stuff, right? And it's like everything but politics and anything that had to do with growing and starting a farm or harvesting water, whatever, right? They just none of that was on the list. None of that was on the list. It was all about Bigfoot and Yetis and talking about like the abominable snowman and all kinds of weird stuff on the list that YouTube says these videos get the most views or something. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Well, what about gravy down the pants?
Pouring gravy down your pants was not on that list, but I should actually ask them what they think. I don't know if you remember when I called you a few months back when I was doing that YouTube course I had to take from home.
Yes.
And they were asking me about like the strangest stuff that you could ever fathom. And I was reading them to you. You were laughing your pants off. It's like, wow.
Yeah. Well, remember that these people are sitting in Silicon Valley, right? And they're all woke. All of them. 100% of them are woke. Okay, like they don't live on the same planet we do.
Like in what
That's
sense?
why-
Like
that's why
they're
you
high
get
as a
this-
kite, or they're on acid or something, or they just like
Well, they're stupid. They're clueless.
yeah, they have no idea. They don't know if they're tricking or treating.
Yeah, no, they don't know. This is the participation trophy generation. That this is how they think, right? Yeah, like harvesting water and backyard gardening and disaster prepping and stuff like that. There's all kinds of channels for it, but these people don't relate to any of it.
But they relate to
grew up in-
Bigfoot.
Yeah, Bigfoot, sure. I mean, Bigfoot's it's a nice diversion, right? And it's completely irrelevant. The discovery of Bigfoot would not be earth-shaking unless, of course, like I said, there was a hidden video of Trump paying him to pee on a hotel bed in Moscow or something like that. Yeah, no, it's completely irrelevant. Anything that's irrelevant, they like.
Mm-hmm.
They'll go for it because they don't. I mean, they lived in affluent suburban areas in American cities, and they went to affluent American universities where they got all kinds of woke points, and then they work for an affluent Silicon Valley technology company. These people are dorks.
Yeah,
Plain and simple dorks. This is ruled by dork. This is why I'm not worried about globalists taking over the world, because most of them are degenerates and dorks. These aren't the crackling, demonic entities like the original Rockefellers and Warburgs and guys like that. Okay, this is their grandchildren.
Hold on.
They're all woke clowns.
Okay, let me just add something to
They
that.
can't even govern their own lives.
A lot of them don't shower too, from what I heard. That's probably the myth of the Bigfoot that comes out, because Bigfoot smells really bad from what the sightings have said. It might be one of these tech dorks that's actually going around the woods and they think it's Bigfoot.
Well, yeah, these are the kind of guys that they wear Birkenstock and they got the purple hair and the ear gauges.
Chin
and,
beers.
Yeah, they don't shower and yeah, George Orwell. I remember, I think it was Road to Wigan Pier. I saw a quotation from that book talking about English socialists in the 30s.
Mm-hmm.
And you would see someone like that walking down the pier, the Fisherman's Wharf in San Francisco today. They drink some, the latest health kick, weird vegetable juice, and yeah, they wear sandals and they don't wash, and they're just strange people.
Mm-hmm.
It's just best to stay away. That's fine. Just people like that. You get one life, live it how you choose. Just you go live yours and leave me alone to live mine. But they don't want that. They can't leave you alone. You've got to think like they do, or there's something wrong with you. There's no point reasoning with them because they just look at you and smirk, and then when you're done, they this Dunning-Kruger smile on their face, like they just scored some kind of amazing zinger against you. No, they're different species altogether. I'm quite sure.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know why they're so susceptible to things that are visibly not true, but.
Mm-hmm.
You can't reason with them. You just have to fight them and make sure that they don't hold public office.
Mm-hmm. Well, I got
right,
a clip
and
here
they're not
people from
sustainable.
San
They're
Francisco
parasitic.
here. I'm going to play this real quick here.
We're a little more progressive and ahead of the curve here in San Francisco.
Oh, he just farted. Just smelling his own
Anyway,
fart.
I'm sure you'll find it much better here in San Francisco.
I'm just watching. There's a
A little
delay.
more progressive and ahead of the curve here in San Francisco. Anyway, I'm sure you'll find it a little more progressive and ahead of the curve here in San Francisco.
Are you there, Mike?
Yeah, I'm just
Anyway,
watching the
a little
clip.
more progressive and ahead
Okay,
of the
I'm
curve
just
here in
hearing
San
some
Francisco.
static. I don't see anything on my screen here.
Okay, Gary, I had to
Yeah.
play that there for a little bit.
That's right, Lord. Yeah, they need to be paddled. They'd probably line up for that, actually.
I just had to play that clip. That was beautiful.
Yeah. You're talking about that South Park clip.
Yeah, I just played it a few times just so people
the
can
guy
get
in
up to
San
date.
Francisco.
Up
We're
to
more
speed.
sophisticated here, and then sniffing his own farts. Yeah, yeah. Well, there you go. Yeah. Like all this talk about echo chambers. Well, it's just projection. I mean, these people recite the same sound bites. I see people that I know on Facebook reciting the same sound bites, and they think that they're original thoughts, and they think that they defeat any argument against them. You know, like what do you do with people like that? It's just like borderline demonic possession. It's like, what the hell happened to you people?
Mm-hmm.
It's
like
bizarre.
again, it goes back to what Lord said earlier. Is this a lot of people sold out to the almighty dollar, right? Everybody on this planet is in competition to the almighty dollar, right?
Oh, it's the mystery Babylon system, Mike. The world has had a one world currency for 76 years. It's a little green piece of paper with Masonic symbols on it. I mean, we're there. You know that system in the book of Revelation? Yeah, we're there. This is as close as we'd ever have. We don't need a chip. Everyone has a phone. We've got George Orwell's telescreens. We pay for them ourselves, and we're actually kind of mad when people aren't watching us on them.
You know, I wouldn't
Right?
be.
Like,
I wouldn't be surprising. You're going to hear it here, guys, first on the show, that people without cell phones are going to get free government cell phones.
Well, free up to a point.
Like, remember the Obama
Right?
phone? They just took it to track people.
Oh yeah, of course. You know, and you think about, okay, well, all the people that got are broke and have an average IQ of 90. Why on earth do you need to track them? Like, who cares? If you're handing out money, they'll come for it. You don't have to go looking for them. You know they're going to spend it all on, you know, malt liquor and cigarettes.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, you can track that because they use their EBT card. Every transaction they do, you can track.
Mm-hmm.
You don't need to chip them. Yeah, I mean, it's like Orwell's 1984. Proles and animals are free. Most of the proletariat, the horizon is filled up with beer and football, just like in the book, right? And porn and pizza. Like, it doesn't matter. You don't need to track most people. You can just leave them alone and let them do their thing. You don't need to know where they are. You know, like, it doesn't matter.
Blunt
They'll
News
do
wants
what
me to
they're
put up his chat room. I don't have a link for it. Blunt, you could post it yourself. I don't remember what the link was. Blunt, I know you want me to put up your chat. Let me see if I could find it in the chat room here. That you sent me pictures of the boat. Blunt News was on earlier, and yeah, he's having a good time, right? He's having a good time.
I see that.
Not a long time.
Hey,
He'll have
yeah,
a good
hey,
time
Blunt.
because the sun can't shine every day.
That's right. I put it in the comments. I said if you wanted to keep him on the stream longer, tell him to go do a relic jump over a log boom somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
Show off for us a little bit.
Well, there it is, the
But,
link for Blunt News chat if you guys want to get into Blunt News chat, because Blunt News has a lot to talk about.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, no, he's up on things. Definitely. Y'all are. I mean, we're only disagreeing on the details. There's obviously people behind the scenes manipulating stuff, and you're surrounded by nutcases, right? And people who are, you know, they believe everything that's fed to them. But you know what makes people stop believing the things that are fed to them? When they deal with the final consequences of believing those things.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Silicon Valley is going to collapse one day.
It will.
Las Vegas is going to be cactus and Gila monsters again someday.
But let's be really
know what I
frank
mean?
here. I think Bigfoot's more believable than a lot of the crap they're trying to feed us.
Yeah, Bigfoot. Yeah, I'd go with that. The thing about Bigfoot is you can project any kind of character on the Bigfoot you want because he's pretty smart at keeping himself out of sight. You know, if Bigfoot comes out wearing a Trump 2020 jersey, of course it won't matter because they'll just shoot him and hide him in a shallow grave.
Yeah.
But if he comes out wearing a Love is Love shirt, I mean, yeah, they'll be parading him through Silicon Valley, right?
Right.
So Bigfoot, yeah, it's best for him to stay in the background and let people project whatever they want onto him. So Bigfoot's pretty smart staying out of the way, I think.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. All right, Supreme, we're coming up to our third hour here, and
yeah, it went fast tonight. Yeah, it was a great show. It's great to see all you guys on here and interact with you. Yeah, I've got this week off actually, Mike. So I'm hoping Wednesday, Thursday, I will be able to nip over there and we hang out for a few hours. You're open Wednesday, Thursday, eh?
Yep, of course I am. Not Monday though, but Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, I'm open. I've had people all week. Dude, you should have been at my store this week because you would have met 5 people in the 1 hour you would have been there.
Is that right?
Yeah, oh yeah, they know you. They know you. They know Layla. They know the Raven. They know, like, people across the Commonwealth know you guys.
Ah, well, that's nice. That's nice. Yeah, no, I appreciate that a whole bunch. Well, you never know. We'll see who comes walking in the door. I'll swing by and bring some Timmy's, and yeah, we'll get caught up on things.
Perfect. All right, Supreme. Yeah,
Okay.
maybe we'll make a video when you come by.
Well, I'll make sure I'm wearing a clean shirt anyway.
And a cowboy hat.
Okay. And a cowboy hat. Yeah, I'll figure something out. Yeah.
All right, Supremo. Thank you so much. God bless you. We'll talk very soon.
God bless, Mike. God bless everyone. We'll talk soon.
All right, guys. It is time to wind it down. I want to thank everyone for joining the channel. I'm going to give you guys the plug now for next week's Mike in the Night and trends in the housing market, guys. Don't forget this Wednesday. I mean, talking about housing, it might sound boring, but it's actually very educational because there's the Blunt News chat, guys. I already put it in the thing, man. All right, I'll put it back in the chat here. So if you guys want to chat with Blunt, there it is there. I think that's the one he sent me. But yeah. So let's go to YouTube, ThemTube. Let's go to ThemTube. Let's open up the channel here, guys. Don't forget, I'm going to give you a link. This is Trends in the Housing Market. More defaults on our way. That's this Wednesday, but I'm going to leave you the link for next week's Mike in the Night. And hopefully we can get a first-time caller on next week if you want to be part of the show. There it is, next week's Mike in the Night. Mike in the Night, dystopian future. I mean, who knows? I don't even put a title anymore that matters because everything changes within 3 hours. So there's what's the point anymore? You know what I'm saying? And don't forget to check out Trends in the Housing Market. Really good show. As boring as you think housing discussion is, it's not that boring. When you get the money laundering, the shadow flipping, the takeover, the mass exoduses, people can't pay rent, the cost of living is just beyond their means, and people taking out a $5 million mortgage on a house that's worth $200,000. Yes. Layla's going to come on hopefully next week to introduce Phase 1 to us. She's going to be discussing what Phase 1 is, and it's coming this fall. And hopefully the Raven if the Raven's working, that's great. But if he's not working, he'll come on the show and discuss the plans of a depopulation and what their agendas are for that. And hopefully, hopefully we could get more people on the show, more first-time callers, and go from there. Oh, yeah. 3 hours later.
Gemini King, Mike in the Night, and the Gemini crew.
Ooh!
Ooh!
The Mexican government, Mexico. I love China.
Mike into the night, you're here with Mike in the night. Mike into the night, you're here with Mike in the night. Let's just talk about the world. Give this page another turn, 'cause you're here with us tonight. Everything's alright when you're here with Mike in the night. Mike into the night, you're here with Mike in the night. Giving the world light when you're here with Mike in the night. Mike into the night, you're here with Mike in the night. Sometimes things are just absurd, so let's just talk about the world, 'cause you're here with us tonight. Mike into the night, you're here with Mike in the night. Mike into the night, you're here with Mike in the night. Let's just talk about the world. Give this page another curl, 'cause you're here with us tonight.
Tonight, baby. Mike in the Night. People of the night. People of the night.